Yes,
Morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. So we are just at 10 o'clock. So I think it's good time to start because both Ratan sir and Anup sir are here. The leaders who should start the session first. So I guess it's the time to start. Shall we?
Yes, let's go ahead and start.
Yes. Siddharth, are we good to go? Siddharth, can you hear me?
Okay, so, sir, in between, this is telecasted live in Facebook and all our social media handles. Also, our platform have this live running. So all the speakers will be coming through this particular platform, this Zoom link. The audience will be the larger public.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you who have joined from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, in fact. Welcome to the 8th edition of Big Demo Day. Before getting into the session, I would like to give you a brief about what Big Demo Day is. So we started this concept during COVID times just to make sure that our startups they are getting a platform where they can showcase their products to the world, and they're getting business and investment opportunities. And right now we are in the 8th edition of Big Demo Day. 100 plus startups showcased. A lot of business. Some investments they have managed to procure through these customized demo days. So sector-wise, we have done many big demo days. Sector agnostically, we also have done many big demo days, and the results were fruitful. And that's where we stand at the 8th edition of Big Demo Day. And this edition is particularly focused on the fintech domain. We have selected 11 dynamic, 11 rockstar startups who will be showcasing their products today through our in-house developed platform, which is business.startupmission.in. Aditya, can you help me in pasting that in the chat box so that everyone can go there and have a live walkthrough of our startups. So let me quickly start the day. So today we have a very power-packed big demo day sessions by the leaders of the ecosystem. So to start with, we have our leader, Sri Anup Ambiga, CEO of Kerala Startup Mission, to deliver the opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Prajit. And like you said, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is attending from all parts of the world. It is indeed a great pleasure to be here. Actually, there is something special about this demo day. After I joined as the Kerala Startup Mission CEO, probably this is the first demo day that I am personally attending and addressing. So it gives me immense pleasure to look at this platform to begin with. And, like Prajit said, I would like to also give you a little bit of a background about why are we doing this. So we often ask companies, startups from Kerala about, what are the things that you would want to do or want to have to scale? And often always three things come back to us. One is investment, one is infrastructure, and the third one is obviously business. So our efforts, the business development group of Kerala Startup Mission is always on a pursuit to find out more avenues for our startups to have early adopters for their products, to have customers for their products, to have strategic investors for our products who have got expertise in various verticals. So that is where the segmentation of the big demo day into multiple verticals, wherein, on one day you will focus on the financial services, on another day you would focus on the agri-tech startups, the third day you might be only looking at the cybersecurity services. So it gives a very focused effort for our startups, our investors, as well as the potential customers to come and spend a productive day with our startup ecosystem and try and figure out interesting products and startups that form part of the ecosystem. So in that way, Startup Mission has also devised a very good platform wherein, it is as good as a real conference. People could go and meet with each other. You have breakout rooms. You can have your chats. You also have the panel discussions that are happening on the side. So pretty much what the pandemic done to us is to recreate a virtual ecosystem wherein we'll be able to hold conferences like this and give a lot of value or add a lot of value to our startups. Now, with regard to the Kerala startup ecosystem, for people who are attending this for a first time, I would like to give you a little bit of an overview. So Kerala Startup Mission was officially in this shape and form was incorporated in 2016. And since then, we have been working extremely hard to facilitate the entrepreneurial ecosystem within the state. Currently, it is one of the most acclaimed startup ecosystems in the entire country. And even across the globe, we have got accolades and awards from various international agencies for the good work that we have been doing. As far as the statistics goes, we have around 3,900 startups that form part of the ecosystem, out of which 1,000 companies have clocked early revenues and 400 companies have reached a steady revenue state. And our objective is to significantly increase the number of startups to 15,000 in the next 5 years, and also scale up some of the startups who have gotten traction with the customers, gotten traction with the investment, and have started clocking revenues. Fintech is very dear to us because Open, which was the 100th unicorn of the company, a neo-banking platform for the small and medium enterprises across the globe, was incubated in Kerala Startup Mission. And it was also funded as part of our Fund of Funds program, wherein, five investors from across, or four investors from across the country has partnered so far. I would also like to inform all the investors who are part of this group that the new RFP for the Fund of Funds has gone out, and we would like to invite each and every one of you to become part of this Fund of Funds scheme, which has been extremely successful in identifying some great companies like Open and Gen Robotics, and there are a few others which has gotten real traction, customers, and investment during the journey through the Fund of Funds. So I would like to welcome all the startups, all the investors, all the stakeholders, and our own secretary, dear Secretary Dr. Ratan Kelkar, IAS, who's also kindly joined the session today. And I hope that all of you are going to have a very fruitful, productive session at the end of the day. We'll be compiling the findings, the learnings that we will be getting out of this day's exercise. We'll be producing the report and we'll be continuously refining the process so that it'll become even more and more better during the days to come. Thank you and good luck to everyone. Have a very productive session.
Thanks a lot, Anup sir, for fabulously setting the context. Very nicely explaining the Kerala startup ecosystem and the context of Big Demo Day. Thanks a lot. Moving on, now we have a special address from a very distinguished dignitary and a very special person to hold Kerala startup ecosystem. He's not just a leader for the Kerala startup ecosystem, but he has got the very crucial responsibility of driving the electronics and IT ecosystem of the state. Let me welcome Dr. Ratan U. Kelkar, IAS, Secretary for Electronics and IT Government of Kerala. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Prajit. At the outset, let me congratulate the Startup Mission for hosting an event of this nature, which brings together various stakeholders and also assess various startups in their journey forward. Government as an entity would like to play the role of a catalyst, wherein we extend our support to all the startups. We bring together the business entities, and also we would like to groom the entire ecosystem in a way which is beneficial not only to the business but to the society as a whole. And in that activity, the Startup Mission, which is an arm of the government, has been taking various steps and also moving forward with great vigor. And as informed by the CEO, Mr. Anup, we are leaving no stone unturned to assist our people in the way forward. And not only a particular vertical, as informed by Mr. Anup, we are looking at various sectors, not only the fintech, which is kind of a focus today, but various sectors, because technology has already reached all the sectors of the economy. And definitely, we would like to be at the forefront, guiding that and ensuring that we get the best out of this technology. And now going forward, with the advent of 5G, I'm sure the ecosystem would become more vibrant, because there are more opportunities which will also be coming your way. And I would request all the young mind not get perturbed by failures, which generally we face initially, because the worst thing than trying and failing is not trying at all. So let us ensure that we keep trying and moving forward, and we are with you in this journey all the way. And we would also like to see you become big and also deliver back to the society, which itself has given you so much during your journey of life. So with that, I wish you all a very fruitful and very good deliberation, and I would look forward for the outcome of this initiative. Thank you, and wishing you all the very best. Over to you, Prajit.
Thanks a lot, Ratan sir, for your words. I believe these words are really a motivation to all the startups who are going to present here, and all the startups who are listening to this from the ecosystem. Thanks a lot. Now, yes. So now moving to the next session, it's actually a pitch session where we have an open pitch from the 11 startups who are showcasing today in front of the jury of 5 investors, and the investors who are joining us from the different parts of the world. But before moving to that, let me quickly go through the startups who are going to present today, and the context of like how the whole big demo day works today. So we have a platform which you can find in the link in the chat box. I guess my colleague Aditya has pasted that in the chat box. So business.startupmission.in, you can find a demo day. Click there, and you can directly go to that platform. And by now it is live. You can see the 11 startups as 11 web tiles. You can see that. And the moment you click into the web tile, you are directly entering into the virtual stall of that particular startup, wherein you can see all the details like product videos, startup videos. You can download their business card, download their brochure. In fact, if you are so excited about that product, and if you want to have an immediate chat with the founder, you have an option of live chat. Just click that, and you will be ending up in a direct face-to-face virtual meeting with that founder. So all those features are there today. Startup founders are waiting for you. So all the audience, all the visitors who are listening to this, I request you to please consider visiting the stalls and interact with our founders today. So today we have 11 startups who are showcasing their innovative products. So we have PT Blink Software Solutions Private Limited, who are into alternative lendings. We have eWire Softtech Private Limited, who are into the payments, rural finance payments. We have Trace Analytics Solutions Private Limited, who are actually into portfolio risk monitoring. Then we have Reafy Technology with a solution that they have developed, a particular use case that they have developed for banks. We have Club Alpha Technologies Private Limited, who are into consumer finance. Then we have FinSol Resources, who actually have a very innovative insurance tech product. I'm not explaining every startup product in detail, because they will be pitching to you very, very soon. So let us give a chance to them to pitch their product. I will be just giving a very basic context of what they do. Then we have Chiller Payment Solutions, who have a fintech platforms for this consumer use case. We have Pitch Dynamics Private Limited, who have a pure banking tech product, very innovative banking tech product. So when you hear them, you will come to know like what kind of product is that. We have Remitap Fintech Solutions Private Limited, who have a solution for payment transfer. We have Remit Payments Private Limited, again a payment remittance app. We have Aceware Fintech Services, who are trying to build Kerala's first UPI app. So yeah, these are the 11 dynamic startups who are there in this platform to showcase their innovative products in front of you. Now, moving on to the next session. So we have a jury which will be evaluating these startups. They will be interacting with these startups, and they will be asking what to do, and they will be discussing them in the future, how to take this product ahead. So let me invite the jury for today's startup pitches. Mandeep Julka, who is the VP for Chirate Ventures. Welcome, Mandeep. We have Ms. Shruti Singhal, who is the Regional Head, Indian Angel Network. Welcome, Ms. Shruti. We have Ms. Ruchi Pincha, who is Investment Analyst for Unicorn India Ventures. Welcome, Ruchi. We have Mr. Deepak Nagpal, who is the Managing Partner for India Accelerator. Welcome, Deepak. And finally, we have Ms. Bhavna B, who is the co-founder for V Founder Circle. Welcome, Bhavna. So on behalf of Kerala Startup Mission, we welcome all the 5 jury members who are present here to listen to our startup pitches. Along with that, we also welcome all the representatives of angel networks and VCs who are listening to this startup pitches, not in this platform, not in this Zoom platform, but again in the Big Demo Day platform. We welcome you as well. So yeah, let me quickly start with the startup pitches. So I guess the first startup is ready by now. So we have Ashin, Remit Payments Private Limited. Are you there? Ashin? Okay, so we have Nimisha from Ace Fairman. Nimisha, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. I can hear you.
Good morning, Nimisha. Good morning. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I believe you are in UK now?
Not yet. I'm traveling on 30th.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So yeah, so welcome to the startup pitch session, and you are going first today. So just let me tell you, this will be a kind of 10-minute pitch, wherein you will get 7 minutes of presentation and 3 minutes will be for the Q&A session with the jury members.
Okay.
So you can start your presentation now.
Yes. So can you please enable the share screen option for me?
Yes, host Siddharth, can you do that? Yes, Nimisha, we can see your screen very well.
Yes.
Yes, you can start now.
Yeah. So good morning. Myself Nimisha J. Vadakan. I'm the Managing Director of Aceway Fintech Services Private Limited. Aceway Fintech Services is the registered name of the company, but we brand our products under the name Ace Money. Ace Money was registered in 2020, which was during the pandemic. Actually, this is our 2nd year of operation. So in Ace Money, we basically is a financial services company which provides financial services to its customers, which is a technology-driven banking and payment solutions company. And we focus on the underbanked and unbanked rural communities of the country. So our major aim is to equip the people with who are not into financial inclusion yet. We make them equipped to get into the financial inclusion. And we mainly focus on grassroots level people like street vendors, auto taxi drivers, kirana shops, etc. When we are looking into the digital area of the country or into the financial sector, we do see certain kind of problems there, and problems are definitely opportunities for us. So we could point out certain kind of problems like underbanked rural region, digital illiteracy, lack of willingness to switch to digital platforms, and then providing, high initial expense to switch to digital platforms. So what we offer them is a technology which provides digital banking facilities to the grassroots level of the country, and we deliver the solutions that will not demand much expense, and also it is not required for the customers to be digitally experts. We train them in the basic level, basic usage of digital solutions, and also like some of them are not willing to switch to the digital platform because of the initial cost, like cost for the POS machines and all. And so we offer solutions for that too. And also we introduce the comfort of digital platforms by giving trainings and awareness campaigns to them. Ace Money actually operate in two kinds, that is B2C as well as B2B. In our B2C solutions, as I have already mentioned you, we mainly focus on grassroots level people, and that is like street vendors, kirana shops, taxi drivers, etc. So when we start a digital journey with these people, what we first do is to place a QR code of Ace Money into their corresponding shop or into their taxi. So first we place a QR code there, and we teach them how to accept the payment using this QR code, so that is the first step for them to get into the digital platform. So accepting through a QR code is much easy for them because they don't have to know any technical side of that, and also automatic settlements will be provided to their corresponding account numbers. So first we place a QR code there, and then comes the other problem. Okay, accepting the payments through QR code is ready now, but what if they want to make a payout? So again, what they will do, they will go to the ATM counter, they will take a cash and make the payments, outgoing payments through cash itself. So in order to make the payouts also digital, we have introduced a prepaid card for them. So in this prepaid card, this is an Ace Money prepaid card, which is supported by Yes Bank. And also our UPI QR code handle is given by Yes Bank. So in this prepaid card, if they wish, we give the settlements, QR code settlements into this prepaid card. And using this prepaid card, they can make all their outgoing payments, debit payments. So then they are completely into a financial transaction mode. Both credit and debit will be digitally enabled for them. And later, once they are into the track, we give them some add-on services where they can serve their customers using these services, and also they get a small income out of this. So this services includes like bill payments, recharges, and also we have an offline UPI service, which is 123 beam voice. So for offline UPI service, it is not necessary that they should have a smartphone or internet is not necessary for an offline UPI service. So when we are going into the rural areas, or sometimes the street vendors may not be holding a smartphone. So in such cases, they can make use of 123 beam voice, that is offline UPI service, to make their transactions digital. So in offline UPI, they can call to a given number, and then their UPI will be activated offline and the transaction can be done. Also, we provide them with micro loans, where we partner with some of the NBFCs providing the loans, and Soundbox, Digital Gold, and finally, they become a prospective customer of the bank. So this is how we operate in B2C model. Once they are fully equipped with all this kind of services, also we have a few additional things to give them, that is like micro ATM, AEPS, DM, direct money transfer, etc., where it will be an additional income generating option for them. So using micro ATM, if they have a good amount of liquid money with them, they can operate as an ATM counter of their own using this micro ATM machine, and per transaction, they will be given a commission amount also. AEPS is Aadhaar enabled payment system, and DMT is direct money transfer. And the next one is B2B services. So when we want to reach out to the grassroots level of the employees, it was not easy for us to go to each and every rural area of the city by taking persons in our own payroll. It was too expensive for a startup like us. So what we figured out there is to operate through some of the agencies which are already present, who have a good network across the country. And these are cooperative banks and societies, some NBFCs, Nidhi limited companies, etc. So if we are taking the case of Kerala, in Kerala alone, we have the cooperative, around 1,300 plus cooperative banks, which is present in Kerala alone. Among them, 792 banks are already our customers. That is cooperative banks. And again, we have a good number of cooperative societies also. So what we do is we cooperate with them to extend the services to the rural areas of the state, of the country. Yeah. When we are looking into cooperative banks, we know that they still follow a traditional kind of banking system where customer has to walk into their branches for doing any deposits, withdrawals, and all. So the first step, what we offer them is to digitalize these cooperative banks. We give digital banking kits to them, which includes mobile banking solutions. And then they doesn't have a ATM card of their own for cooperative banks. So for the people who has account in cooperative bank, we provide them with the prepaid cards, which will be connected to the account which they hold in their cooperative bank, and thus the transaction can be done. Also, the UPI QR services we are providing them, and it will be in a white label system where the name of the cooperative bank or the society will also be included in the QR code. Yeah, and then white labeled ATM machine we provide them, and it is Hitachi ATM machines. Yeah, also micro ATM, AEPS services we give them, Western Union money transfer, insurance services, digital gold. And the last product which we have launched recently was wearable ATM cards, which is actually a lifestyle product, mainly focusing on a higher end society, not to the grassroots level. Wearable ATM cards are nothing but even the rings, keychains, or pendants which we use can be an ATM card with a chip embedded in that, and it will act as a preloaded card where you can load money into that ring or keychain or whatever it is and make the payment in a single tap. Yeah, so these are some of the revenue sources for us. For QR code, we do get a PID. We have a cell called PID.
May I interrupt? We are running a bit late, so you have got 1 minute to wrap the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the revenue sources for us. We get MDR charges from the bank side for all the services which we use. Yeah. And then this is our go-to-market strategy, which I have already explained you. That is B2B as well as B2C is there. And the current traction is given in this slide. Till now, what we have done and what is our income expectation from B2C as well as B2B. Yeah. So what we are looking forward is to expand our services. Right now, we are fully fledged in Kerala, and we have started in few parts of Tamil Nadu also. So we are moving on to the northern parts of the city also soon for infrastructure development, business expansion, and business networking. We are looking forward. And definitely there are few competitors in the market like UPI payment applications, fintech companies, and neo banking. So this is a nutshell of the team, myself with the managing director, and we have a good and experienced team here. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nimisha, for that wonderful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ace Money for you. We have our jury members present here: Ruchi, Mandeep, Deepak. We have Bhavna here. We have yeah. So any questions, team? Any questions to Ace Money?
I can start first.
Yes.
Nimisha, why are you targeting the market that you are targeting? Just want to get a sense of how are you thinking about the market and scaling on individual market segments.
Yeah, even when we speak about digitalization and all, if we look into the country, like only in urban areas, the digitalization is full now. When we are moving in Kerala, it is somewhat okay, like people are aware of all this digital kind of payments and all. But when we are moving into other parts of the country like Tamil Nadu and all, still people are there are areas where people still use only feature phones without any QR codes and all, and so thus we see a big market there.
And have you done any kind of numerical analysis around it? Like, what are the numbers?
Actually, numbers, I'm not sure about that exact numbers. But in Kerala, like Kerala alone, when we did the study, it was like 80% of the people who are living in urban areas are digitalized, but only 30% of the people in the rural areas are fully digitalized.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Mandeep. Any questions, Ruchi, Shruti? We have Shruti from IIN here. Shruti, any questions? Deepak, Bhavna, any questions to Ace Money?
Yeah, I think I didn't get a sense of the traction. I think it was mentioned, that slide was that it's a traction plus projections. So Nimisha, very, very simply, what's the traction on the B2B and B2C?
Yeah, in B2C, actually, we have onboarded around 15,000 street vendors alone. And then like QR code, we have started only a few months back. Before that, we had some services like doorstep banking services, where we have an application called Ace Money, which has 17,000 plus downloads as of now. And in B2B, for cooperative banks alone, we have covered 720 cooperative banks across Kerala. And through that B2B, we have a good number of business, like 14,000 plus.
Thank you, Deepak. Deepak, any more questions from your side, Deepak?
Just one clarification. So 720 banks
Seven,
onboarded. Go ahead, Nimisha.
thank you. 729 cooperative banks as of now are partnered with us.
What does that mean?
Yeah, actually, we offer our B2B solutions like digitalization of cooperative banks and all these other services.
Yeah, I understand the services, but how do you measure? What are the metrics for measuring the B2B traction? So I know the banks are onboarded, but what's
Yes. When we onboard a bank, they do all the services they onboard QR code customers, and they onboard like people who want to use prepaid cards, and definitely we can have
how many customers across those 729 banks are using it?
As of now, the QR code customers are 14,000 from 720 banks. QR code, I mean the merchants who are using the QR codes from cooperative banks. Not B2C, we are doing directly. B2B separately from the cooperative bank sector alone, we have 14,000.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Deepak. So yeah, with the interest of time, let me move to the next startup. Thanks a lot, Nimisha, for your time and for presenting Ace Money to us.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you. Great day. Bye.
So yeah, moving on to next startup. Do we have the representative from eWire online? Do we have eWire Softtech Private Limited online? Okay. Do we have representative from PT Blink Software Solutions?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Hi. May I know your name? You are. I forgot your name.
Sanjay.
Hey Sanjay, how are you?
Good, doing good, thank you.
Yes. So yeah, you have got exactly 10 minutes, 7 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for the Q&A. You can start now.
Thanks so much. Hello everyone, my name is Sanjay, the founder of QuickPay. Ever since I took my first salary, I wanted to run a business of my own. And my idea of running my own business was to make the entire world my customer and have each individual on this planet pay me 1 rupee. Now, the difficult part was to figure out how to make this happen. And finally, we have figured it out. And the best part is this works in everyone's favor. So after setting up our initial targets, our first attempt to move closer to it was to conduct a survey where we collected a sample of around 1,000 people through a phone survey. And some of the key takeaways of our survey was over 73% of people, they run out of money in less than 2 weeks' time. And people borrow money in traditional ways by up to 6 times a month. And the multitude of loan providers with rigorous loan applications, they lead to stress and discomfort in the application's lifestyle. Now, this is where we come, or the survey helped us realize that this is a very common yet highly overlooked problem faced by many. And QuickPay is here with an innovative solution to reinvent the approach of credit services that will be tailored to cater the high ratio of people who do not meet the eligibility criteria of the strict financial systems out there. And I mean, some of the highlights or some of the points that we understood after conducting the survey were there are no money to meet the basic needs, especially towards the end of month. Credit cards are not accepted everywhere, and for those using credit cards, are always worried of high interest charges. And most of the times, it is embarrassing for people to ask money for the basic needs, due to which they try to compromise on the quality of their personal and professional lifestyle. Now, this is where we come with a solution, and the solutions are provided through quick credits. And the key, or considering the key pain areas in mind, quick credits can be used to buy now and pay later, encouraging the majority population not to compromise on the quality of their lifestyle and provide them with an alternative in terms of asking money for others. Let the common public show interest on buy now pay later, while we take care of the interest charges and provide low interest services. Now, what sets us apart from all of this is that we offer completely no interest services, and this is what people want. Now, this triggers interest for an application and will eventually lead to be used by the general public to start using one app solution which could maintain the entire UPI services and the credit services together. Now, it is equally important for us to understand the geographical influence of the services we offer. As it needs to be understood, there are over 70 crore salary account holders in India, and the vision is to offer our services to those who have not been scored yet. And we understand only 1 in 30 own a credit card, and we aim to reduce this gap and enable the credit services to possibly everyone out there. It is a big market, but achievable. And also, the median age of the Indian population is 28 to 29 years, and the differentiator or the leader in the market is the one who's able to figure out and has a clear understanding of the market dynamics and is ready to measure the shift and change the technology as per the need. So, I would once again like to emphasize that we are focused to target the large number of salaried account holders across the country, and the potential market we are targeting is huge and ready to be touched. Our goal is to enable the buy now and pay later services at a hyper local market level, especially to the unserved and the salaried account holders across the country. Now, when the banks or the existing financial institutions, they target the top segments of the credit cards and buy now pay later services. We would like to stand different by reaching the bottom of the pyramid first and then grow together, as they contain the large segment of the population and consist of our target market initially. And we would like to move gradually to other potential markets as the next stage of the strategy. And we have come to a stage realizing that UPIs are not just meant for transactions. We want them to be powered with buy now pay later, as this will give enormous benefits to the users. Now, we also, although there are handful of competitors that are available in the market, I would like to emphasize on the point that we realize buy now pay later is not something new. However, we would want to improvise the current services offered by buy now pay later service providers, especially by entering the hyper local market. And if we talk about the Kerala market, we are at an early stage in terms of disrupting the hyper local BNPL provider. We have clearly set our aim is to become a fintech leader in the current market.
Sorry to interrupt, you have got 1 more minute.
Cool. So we mainly focus on three modes of revenue. We charge transaction charges as low as 2 rupees per transaction. We depend on affiliate revenue. We also depend on merchant discount revenue as well as manufacturer discount revenue. If we consider only the possibilities of depending on the transaction slides suggest how effective the revenue will be, and I'll be more than happy to demonstrate the city of your choice. We are in a seed fund asking to raise 50 lakh rupees in exchange of 10% equity, and this is our team, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay, for that presentation. Any questions, team? Ruchi, Shruti, Deepak, Mandeep, Bhavna, any questions from your side?
I'll go.
Yes.
Hi, Sanjay, it's Ruchi. Sanjay, can you let us know the target audience that you're targeting, more clarity on how do you differentiate with the competitors?
Sure. Anyone with a good CIBIL score, anyone who has not been scored by the CIBIL yet, meaning someone who has got a salary that is as low as somewhere between 5,000 to 10,000, they're welcome. Salaried account holders by default is going to be my target audience.
And how do you then check the risk involved?
We do check their social media quotient, where we try to understand how good their financial transaction has been in the past. Based on such inputs, we evaluate whether or not they are eligible to receive micro credits from us as low as 3,000 rupees per month. So there's going to be no EMI. And whenever they receive the salary, the entire amount shall be deducted from their salary.
Okay, and how do you differentiate with the competitors?
We provide no interest services entirely. We do not provide EMI, and we are providing the services at a hyper local market level, meaning our potential users, they can walk up to the local store, they could eat food, they could buy chocolates, or they could buy clothing, etc. at a hyper local market level. These are the three ways where we stand different.
Got it. That's it from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchi. Any more questions, Jury? Any more questions from your side, Bhavna, Mandeep, Deepak, Shruti?
Can you explain the revenue model again, please?
Certainly. We are depending on three types of, in fact, 4 types of revenue. Transaction charges for every time, whenever our end users, they use our credits for each transactions, we charge them as low as 2 rupees. And at any shop, they go and use the credits. For at the vendor side, we charge them a merchant discount revenue as maximum as 10% for every transactions that happen. The third type is manufacturer discount revenue, where we take discount on the total cost when we buy them in bulk, let's say, or whenever we promote their products through our application. That is going to be the third type of revenue. And of course, affiliate revenue in terms of the utility bill payments or in terms of the mobile recharges that we can actually make. These are the type of revenues that we stick with. For example, I would like to take a minute more or a few more seconds to explain. Let us assume there are 5,000 customers on our ecosystem using 3,000 rupees as a credit. And if one of the scenarios might be all these 5,000 customers could end up using 3,000 rupees our credit awarded to them, which means around 1.5 crores of transaction has been done. And if we look at only the merchant discount revenue, which can be charged up to 10%, which means we get a revenue of 15 lakh rupees only on that month. Now, this system, if we consider with the existing loan infrastructure given by the various banks, if I take up a loan of 1.5 crore for 12 months, I might have to end up giving an additional interest of somewhere close to like 20 lakh rupees or 21 lakh rupees for the entire 1 year. That entire in revenue what the bank makes in 1 year, we have the potential to make that in 1 month if we just stick with one of the type of revenues that we depend on.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. So with the interest of time, we need to stop this presentation, but I believe there's always a chance of getting connected offline because the product is great, and I'm sure jury will have more questions to get clarified. But with the interest of time, we need to move on. Thanks, Sanjay, for demonstrating QPay.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Do we have the representative of EY Softech online? Do we have EY representative online? No. Okay. Do we have Sony from Trace Analytics online? Okay. Do we have Joseph from Reafy online? Do we have the representative from Club Alpha Technologies Private Limited?
Hi, Prajit. I'm on.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So, yeah, so let's start our presentation. So you will have 10 minutes of time, 7 minutes for the presentation, exactly 7 minutes for the presentation, and 3 minutes for Q&A. You can start.
Perfect. Thank you, Prajit. And let me just share my screen.
Okay.
And please tell me if this is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is visible.
Sorry. Okay, great. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Chantini. I am the co-founder and CEO of Synapse. And at Synapse, we are on a journey to reimagine how millions of Indians will have formal access to educational credit. And as Prajit mentioned earlier, we are not just a consumer finance company. We are specifically focused on one sector, which is the educational finance, right? So why look at educational credit as a market, right? So as we all know, India is on way to become the most populous country in the world. And all parameters indicate that our formal education system will also double in the upcoming 2 years. The GER is bound to go from 25% to 50%, which is the gross enrollment ratio. The percentage of students who will avail credit for higher education is also bound to go from 33% to 53%. And rightfully so, largely because the cost of higher education is doubling every 2 years. Just to take an example, I myself is from IIM Lucknow. And when I graduated in 2015, our fees was for 12 lakhs. And for the same course, same program today, it costs 24 lakhs. And it is not, and the story remains true across all the educational institutions, right? And the unfortunate part is EL contributes merely 2% of the total lending portfolio within our country. And the sad part of this is you can imagine as any organization, right? If a channel is contributing only less than X%, especially less than 10% of the portfolio, the kind of resources that get allocated to that particular segment. So that is where the opportunity also lies. And that's where the sad part also, that is only 1 in 12 students get access to timely educational credit in our country. So we are on our journey to relook how exactly Indians will get access to formal educational credit. So the sad part is people think it is a very simple process getting access to educational credit, but there are a plethora of parameters that is considered, and a lot of factors that goes into deciding who gets credit from and from which institutions. A couple of pointers are highlighted here. The first problem that they have to choose is whom do I go with? Who is my right financial partner based on my particular profile, which consists of multiple parameters. The second one is even if I decide my partner, I'm riddled with a lot of paperwork and visiting the institutions for finishing up the documentation. And the third one is it takes forever for me to receive an update and to receive status on my loans, right? And the fourth one, who will assist me during the entire process. And all this problem stems largely from the problem that I mentioned earlier, that is lack of resources and focus, which is getting assigned to this particular segment in the banking industry, right? So where does Synapse fit in this entire equation, right? So Synapse takes away the entire complexity of how the loans are processed, right? We have built our own in-house scoring mechanism, which gives the students a comprehensive Synapse score, which simplifies the complex evaluation criteria of banks, right? And that is why we operate as platform, because that ensures that we are bringing together the underwriting principles of multiple lenders in one platform. Then we identify the best fit partner for the student based on his or her profile. And the entire documentation is also done. And everything, all of this process can be done from the convenience of using WhatsApp, right? And if the student is eligible, we do ensure that the loan is getting sanctioned from the bank and the entire process is taken care of. And if it is not, if the student is not eligible, then the student receives an instant recommendation based on his or her profile to ensure they can improve on those parameters, right? So no longer students are kept in the dark or parents are kept in the dark that you will not get access to credit, and all the parameters that they wish to know and all the parameters that are used in the evaluation of their profiling is visible to them. So what makes us different, right? So that is the most important question when you operate as a platform, right? The first thing is our true profile and diagnostics. So we launched last year in September. The product got launched in September. After interacting with almost 1,200 students who went through our processes, we have developed our own scoring mechanism, which breaks down the individual parameters into 5 different subsegments, and each of the subsegments has scored, and a comprehensive score is given with all the parameters, with all the detailing of every parameters included. And we assess almost 55 underwriting parameters across all the banks, for all of our partner banks, and the automated recommendations are also provided. And all this is based on the convenience as one of the pillars, right? One is the transparency, second part is the convenience. Everything can be done over WhatsApp itself. So no more downloading apps and random signups. Users are able to complete the entire journey on WhatsApp. And we have an automated WhatsApp process flow, which also includes document collection as well as a profile assessment that we mentioned. You can just visit our website and you can just click on press hi to start the process, and you yourself can go through the entire process and understand how the flow is designed. So this is open to everyone, right? And third one is what makes us the preferred partner for the banks. Because of our enhanced processes, we do ensure that the complete underwriting ready file is transferred to our partner banks. We do not just pass on the leads, we do not just do the profiling of the student, but rather the end-to-end document collection, so that the underwriting is significantly reduced. The turnaround time is significantly reduced. The key competitors within the educational loan platform segment is We Make Scholars, Gyandan, GradRight, and Goose. As I mentioned earlier, Goose is a recent entrant in the market. So this has been our journey throughout. As I mentioned, we got registered in May 2021, and August we had our first partnership with our bank, which is ICICI. And September we launched our pilot and had our NBFC partnerships. And January we started generating revenues and also extended our B2B partnership for sourcing students who might require access to credit. And in June of 2022, that is this year, we developed our Synapse Diagnostics, which I mentioned earlier, which is a comprehensive scoring mechanism. And in August, we transitioned the entire process to WhatsApp. Initially, we were a web app-based platform, but we realized end of the day, everyone wants to interact over WhatsApp, and most of the communications are also done on WhatsApp. So we pivoted the entire process to WhatsApp. And in October, that is this month, we also concluded our domestic tier 1 and tier 2 partnership with our public sector bank partner, which is Union Bank. And we will be launching our product in domestic segment as well. So these are our 2 different segments that we operate in. First one is international education loan, largely because most of the banks do have structure only in international.
Robert, you have got 1 minute.
Absolutely, thank you. And in the domestic segment, we have Union Bank and Axis Bank. So this is our business model. The platform is completely free for students and parents. The primary revenue sources from the bank, which ranges from 0.6% to 1.5% of the total disbursed loans. And the traction so far for this financial year is the total sanctioned loan book is 14.07 crores, out of which 8.14 crore is secured loans and 5.93 is unsecured loans. And we have a total revenue booked so far of 4.93, which we have received, and 6.01 lakh, which we are yet to receive. And we are projecting our total transaction for this year to be 20 crores. So just a glimpse of the founding team. So myself, Robert Chantini, and my co-founder, Jairaj Sambi, both are from IIM Lucknow. We were batchmates. In fact, Jairaj was 1 year junior to me, but we were batchmates. And 2021, we started on this journey together. We have experience in both MNCs as well as in early stage startups in senior leadership positions. So what is the plan for next 12 months? So the 2023 target is to grow our sanction loan book to 10x by 200 crores. We will be launching our domestic loan process in 30 campuses, which is 10% of the total market. We can reach out to almost 400 odd campuses with unsecured loans from a public sector bank partner, which is Unibank. And we will increase our B2B partners to 10x and increase our user acquisition to 13x. So, and also to build a comprehensive LMS portfolio and to strengthen our branding position so far. So that's it from my end, since in the interest of time, since we are running short.
Amazing presentation about Synapse, Robert. Thank you for making us go through the Synapse journey. Thanks a lot. We will take just 2 questions from jury with the interest of time. So any questions, jury? So we have Sumil from vFounder Circle. So I just now realized that Bhavna is not there. So Sumil has joined from vFounder Circle. So Sumil, do you have any questions for Synapse? Sumil, you're not audible. Hello, Sumil, can you hear me? Okay, so Ruchi, Shruti, Deepak, Mandip, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah.
Quickly, Robert.
Hi, Mandip. Morning. Mandip, you're not audible.
You're not audible, Mandip. Yeah, okay. Any more questions? Deepak, Shruti, Ruchi?
Hello.
Hey, Sumil. Hey, Sumil. Hi.
Thank you for the introduction there, Pradeep. I'm sorry there was a connection issue.
Yeah, okay.
Robert, just a quick question to you. I think you were not able to elaborate more on what the traction you are expecting in this year. Do you tell me what's your projection going forward?
So the projection is, as I mentioned earlier.
Robert, am I audible?
Yes, Ruchi. Sumil
Okay,
just
there
had
is the thing is that I cannot really hear you. So if you can just put in the chat box, it will be great. I can probably just ask my questions and then log in again.
Okay.
Yes, Ruchi. So right now we have a question from Sumil, and that's answering that. Probably after that, he will. Can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes, Ruchi. Pradeep, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Robert.
Okay. Sumil, just to take up your question, in the international segment that we are operating, we all the traction figures that you saw on the screen, that is the 20 crore revenue that we have, that loan sanction book that we have achieved so far is only on pilot within one city, that is in Cochin in Kerala. Right. The objective next year is to expand our international portfolio to all the South Indian states, and also to introduce our unsecured loan portfolio to all the tier 1 and tier 2 campuses. That is almost 400 campuses, right? So with our international portfolio, we are expecting to grow our total loan book to 100 crores. And with our domestic introduction, we are expecting 30 campuses we are targeting for introduction of our product. That is 10% of the total target institutions that we can look at. And we are expecting another 100 crores over there. 100 crores translate to roughly 500 files that can be processed, right? So this is what we are expecting, 200 crores of total overall sanction loan book, which will result in a revenue of 2 crores on an average. I hope
Yes. So Sumil, I hope Synapse Robert has answered your question clearly. Sumil, can you hear me? Yes. Sumil,
yes.
Put that in chat box. Yeah. So with the interest of time, I'm sorry, jury. We need to move on next. But again, there's always an opportunity of connecting offline, and we'll make sure that all the jury members are connected to our startups. So thanks a lot, Robert, for your outstanding presentation about Synapse.
Thank you. Thank you so much, President. And everyone, please do visit our website and
definitely. So yeah, so we have this business. We have got this, big demo day going on. Startups are showcasing in the business big demo day platform that is happening parallelly. Please consider visiting Synapse and all other startups there. Yes.
Yeah, Robert, this is Deepak. I would definitely want to connect and chat more on this. Good presentation.
Yes. So thank you, Deepak. So I request all the jury members to definitely visit our virtual stalls there. So moving on, now we have Trace Analytics Solutions Private Limited. We have Sony, the founder of Trace Online. Sony, are you there?
Yeah, yes, Prajit, can you hear me?
Yes, Sony, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I just got back from the NASCAR thing. I got a sore throat talking.
Understood.
I'll do my best.
Very, very busy days as a founder, and it should be like that, right? Yes. So you have got exactly 10 minutes, Sony, for the presentation. Sure. 10 minutes for the presentation, in fact, and 3 minutes for the Q&A. You may start now.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. Happy to talk to all of you. I'm just going to share my screen and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
Please let me know if you're able to see this.
Yes, you can see your screen very well. You're audible pretty well.
Thank you. I'm Sony Gabriel, the CEO and co-founder of Trace. What Trace is, it's an automated business risk monitoring tool for any organization. It could be a lender or an investor or even an enterprise who is interested in monitoring the third-party risk. Now, this could be credit risk, market risk, or counterparty risk. What we want to do is take the guesswork out of risk monitoring. So anyone taking an exposure on a business doesn't have to be exposure itself, but counterparty kind of risk exposure. We provide an automated risk monitoring platform. Just a summary. The problem that I'm going to stress on in this presentation is more towards lending as a use case. Like I said, it could be lending, it could be investments, or it could even be enterprise kind of risk monitoring. But when it comes to business lending, what we have noticed, and this is through our advisory network, who's actually part of the team, is that lending doesn't efficiently use unstructured data in the workflows to prevent delinquencies or improve collections. And this, if we actually do it efficiently, you can save a lot of credit losses that lenders run into. Our product Trace is an AI-based early warning, business risk detection and monitoring system geared to help lenders identify troubled businesses early on so that they can prevent credit losses. In terms of traction, we are revenue positive with 2 paying clients. Airbase in the US, it's a corporate spend management platform. And NPCI in India, the implementation is going on. And I'll talk to you about why we have 2 versions, a regular SaaS and an enterprise SaaS. We also have 2 ongoing pilots at the moment. We plan to roll out to another 20 clients in the next 12 months. We are soliciting investments of 1 million from angels and institutions. We have so far raised 100K from a few financial services focused investors, which have listed there, and then I'll be happy to share more details. Now, the key problem statement that we looked at from a lending standpoint is, we all know that the risk underwriting is not exactly the same as ongoing risk. As I said, unstructured data can actually provide a lot of early warning risk signs, which is not really tapped to by the lenders. If you look at the current monitoring that's done in any loan portfolio, it's mostly towards monitoring the numerical data. And that we know that the frequency is at best monthly. That's coming from the bureaus, most likely quarterly if you're doing it in a manual way, like many of the banks that we have talked to, or it's annual because long tail of your portfolio is going to be SMEs, and the only information that you get is the financial statements which come on an annual basis. Of course, you have the internal cash flow and things, but if you'll be surprised that 70 to 80% of people that we talk to from the banking industry, they don't have an automated system in place, and that's what we set up a solve by looking at both numerical data as well as digital data, every business in a portfolio. Now, what is Trace? It's a B2B SaaS platform. There's a lot of NLP involved because we are looking at all the non-financial data that exists on a business. We are looking at alternate data. It could be news, it could be social media, it could be court filings and reports, any kind of such unstructured data sources on a business, which you can actually tap into. But what we do is we convert that to an index. So it's not just saying the sentiment of a business is such and such, but converting that to an index so that it can be used in probability of default kind of models, combining with financial data. By building such a holistic risk monitoring solution, we're able to provide lenders with early warning alerts and red flags in a timely manner so they can take action. Such a system can help them identify problems early on and reduce their losses, and also reduce regulatory exposure. Regulators are coming up with a lot of scrutiny in terms of if your exposure monitoring is robust, it's just robust. Now, this is how Trace looks like when it's deployed. Initially, we connect to the data sources. Now, this could be news, it could be Twitter, Reddit, or relevant social media platforms, or commercial APIs such as LexisNexis, which will give you code filings. From an Indian context, it could be India Kanun or TaxScan or companies like that. No matter what the source is, we convert that into a business sentiment index, and we can generate watch levels. This is done in a daily manner. So we are scoring every business in the portfolio on a daily manner, and just as kind of a solution. Typically, when we onboard a new client, we go back and pull in 5 years of historical data. So we have a risk trend of every business in an ongoing manner. And when they add new businesses to the portfolio, and they can do it themselves using the platform, the first time we actually pull in 5 years of historical data within 24 hours and then ongoing risk trends. Everything is available as an on-prem or a cloud model. And we also have everything available as an API. The second stage, the enterprise SaaS, is when they actually tell us, hey, why don't you combine the internal financial data that we also have, along with the sentiment index that you get, to build explainable models. And this is similar to the probability of default kind of models that bankers are very familiar with. We build those and we automate it. In terms of our revenue model, if you're looking at a cloud deployment, you have a setup fee and a subscription fee. We charge per user or per business. What we have seen, acceptance more. People are more interested in the per business kind of monitoring. So we charge per business per month. And in an on-prem model like NPCI, we charge them an annual license via the names. Now, based on the revenue numbers or the revenue model that I mentioned and the total global market for lending, around 21,500 banks and 60,000 alternative lenders. Based on our revenue model, that's a TAM of 6 billion. Purely from the lending subsegment, I haven't even brought into the investment side or the enterprise side. And we are looking to target 500 million out of this. In terms of our GTM.
Sorry to interrupt, Sony. You have got 1 minute left.
Okay, we work with strategic sales partners, banking veterans, established banking ventures, and so on. This is a team. Geeta and I are batchmates from computer science. We've been in the industry for 25 plus years, worked with IBM, AT&T, and we also have co-founder in Joe, who comes from a credit risk commercial lending background. We also have an advisory team of people with close to 30 years, mostly in risk, Goldman Sachs, Citi, Merrill Lynch, and so on. And our wish is to be a leading provider of risk indexes that complement the risk scoring and monitoring infrastructure. Our direct competition is Moody's Analytics. And our targeted revenue projections going for the next 3 years are also provided. And we are looking to raise $1 million, like I said, towards product development and improving our sales and marketing efforts. And that brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Fantastic, Sony, for that amazing presentation about Trace. I need a very very relevant product for the enterprises.
Sorry, I couldn't talk any faster because
understood. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, hope you will recover soon. Meanwhile, any questions, Jury? Any questions to Sony about Trace? Ruchi, Shruti, Deepak, Mandeep, Sumin, do you have any questions to Trace?
I have questions, but his voice is not. He's not.
No, I can answer
properly, and I think we are short on time also. So would love to connect later on.
Sure. Thanks, Mandeep.
Great. So yeah, of course, you can always feel free to visit the stall of Trace, which is being displayed at Big Demo Day platform. And there, I guess we have team of Trace who will make you go through the product, and you will have your answers. So thanks a lot, Sony, for once again making us go through Trace. Kerala Startup Mission knows how good and how fantastic product is Trace. But again, all the visitors who are present, I guess they have amazed by your solution. And yeah, thanks a lot for that. Sorry. Yes.
Sure, will do. Thank you.
Now, moving on, we have Reafy Technologies Private Limited, who will be presenting their product SA.ai. Joseph, are you there?
Yes, Prajit. Good morning. Good morning, all.
Good morning, Joseph. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Thank you.
Yes. So, Joseph, you have got 10 minutes, exactly 7 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for the Q&A. You can start now.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible and audible as well.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning once again, all. So, I'm myself, Joseph Babu. I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of Reafy Technologies. So, Reafy Technologies is a technology company that is based out of Kochi. So, we are specialized in artificial intelligence and machine learning for the past 9 years. So, we started in 2013 by 6 friends who are basically engineers. So we create consumer and products with world-class experiences. So we started in the B2C space, and we have got a user base of 40 million users in industries like food, fitness, and lifestyle. We have created apps in 23 global languages, and we are partners with the likes of Google, Apple, and Sony in the field of technology. So that is the core expertise comes in of the company. So on the screen, you can see we were one of the first companies from India to be showcased on Google I/O. So we had a technology which is called relational intelligence, which we built 9 years back, which we implemented in the B2C space. And later we created this B2B conversational AI platform, which is called SE, which I'm going to pitch today. Yes, so what is SE? So SE is a unified intelligence layer for enterprise. So it is powered by the artificial intelligence technology that we have built. So what it can do is that it can understand data. So data can be in any form. It can be structured, unstructured. When it comes to an enterprise, whatever the data format is, the core competency is that it can understand the data and create something called relationship maps, which is proprietary to SE. So once it understands data, once the customer comes in, ask any of the queries, when it's starting from the customer servicing, when the customer comes and asks any and all questions, it can answer in any of the platform that of the customer's choice. So the USP of this platform is that you have to train only once and deploy it anywhere. So the power of SE is that when you create a custom AI or ML model in the SE unified intelligence layer, the effort of building the same is minimal. So once you create this AI ML model, this can be deployed across any of the platforms. So low effort, high impact. So that is the USP of the platform. So to talk more about what SE does, so hope you can see my screen. So the 3 key things that SE can do as a unified intelligence layer is that one is, like I mentioned, the data training and the efficiency side. So usually when you go to any AI platform, the core difficulty comes, or the core pain problem comes in the data training part. So usually the existing systems works on a question training model. If you train a question and its variants, and if a question is coming outside the set, then the system fails to answer. So how SE works is in a different way. So SE learns from the original source of truth, or you say the actual data, and any questions customer ask in any format, like people can ask a single question in a million different ways, but still SE can understand this question, then find the relevant information from the enterprise data and give it back to the platform of choice of the customer. So that is the training part, even if the question is being asked outside the set of training, in the sense it is not an FAQ based training system, but it actually learns from the data. So that is the one part, and we have the entire team that works on the training side. So the enterprise, especially when it comes to the BFSI sector, the team no need to have to train the system. The entire training is done from our side. Then the next part is the content to commerce side. So this is the critical part, because the enterprise will always have the data that has been created over the years, and in order to convert this content into commerce, the one capability the platform is having is called bidirectional communication capability. So the enterprise can reach out to the customer. For example, currently there are campaigns that is done by the BFSI or the fintechs to upsell or cross-sell their products. So once the message is sent to the user cannot interact with the platform. That is one reason. The other thing is, in between the purchase funnel, the user can drop off at any point of time. But what SE can do is that it can reach out to the customer on the platform of their choice, especially platforms like WhatsApp, and continue a conversation and nudge the user to complete the transaction. So that is the content to commerce side. And again, it can assimilate data from different sources, even if it's image, if it's PDF, structured, unstructured data, even if it is images. So from all these multiple data silos, it can learn and respond back to the customer. Then the third, the most important part is the consistent customer experience part. So for customers, now we know that they use multiple devices and platforms. So the user experience has to be consistent across platforms. So only if you have the true intelligence. So usually when it comes to web, most of the platforms does is they're just the technical capabilities through maybe drop-down predictions or by buttons. But when you go to a platform like WhatsApp, you have to be conversation. People ask questions. So you need to have this true intelligence to provide the consistent customer experience. So that is one of the key capabilities of SE. So in the left-hand side, you can see the customers. They can come through say web, desktop, or mobile platforms. It can come through voice platforms like Alexa, Google Assistant, WhatsApp. Also, it can come through say chat platforms. And like I said, SE can understand data from structured, unstructured, and also sort of sources. Well, so it's more, I've talked a lot about SE. So where it has been implemented and what is the implementation impact? So currently we have implemented it for Federal Bank, which is one of the largest private bank in Kerala. We have implemented it on 2020 October. So these are the implementation impacts for our client. This is a case study that have been done by Google and it is published in the public domain. So you can see in terms of the accuracy, we have a stellar accuracy of 98%.
Sorry to interrupt. You have got 1 minute exactly.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I'll quickly run through the impacts. You can see in the screen, we have handled 1.4 million queries and have an accuracy of 98%. They're expecting a 50% savings in the customer center cost, and we have deployed across 5 different platforms like web, WhatsApp, Google Business Message, Amazon Alexa, and Google Assistant. So this is the scenario. They've tried 30 different providers for the same, and the problems, like I've already mentioned, high training time, failed to understand the conversation nuances, and could not align with the bigger vision of the company. So the current business model is the managed SaaS model, especially when it comes to BFSI. They prefer their private cloud. The revenue model is the annual subscription package, and the additional revenue streams are the basic implementation cost as well as the annual support cost. The growth plan is to scale to the market like North America and to get compliance and security certifications when you go for the SaaS offering. The product expansion, we are looking for a complete SaaS offering for them, SMEs. We have clients apart from Federal Bank. We have Karur Vysya Bank, which is going to be released in the coming week. So in the interest of time, that's all from my end. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm glad to take. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joseph, for that fabulous presentation. Any questions, Jury?
So, Joseph, how many implementations and what are the big clients apart from Federal Bank?
Federal Bank, the Karur Vysya Bank, they are the largest private sector bank in Tamil Nadu. So we are in conversation with multiple clients in the insurance segment like Axis Securities and other the likes of that. So currently the signed clients are Federal Bank and Karur Vysya Bank. Federal Bank already, the 2 phases are complete where the customer servicing AI assistant, which is FEDI, that is being created by us, which is already there on 5 different customer facing platforms. Now we are doing the transactions part. Now the customers can do transaction by say conversations. So which is already 2 banking operations or core banking operations are already live, like seeing the account balance and the account statement. So there are 16 core banking transactions that you can do through WhatsApp and web simply by messaging. So that is the current state. So clients answering to your question, clients currently Federal Bank and Karur Vysya Bank, the banking sector, and we have say 5 to 6 clients which is already in the pipeline, which is about to be signed. These are bigger projects, like yeah.
Do you find use case or success outside of BFSI?
Yeah, definitely. So the system is 80% entirely automated. So even if we have clients like Estee Lauder companies, which is the one of the largest retail company for a conglomerate of so many beauty brands. So they are one of our clients in the US side. Also, government of Kerala is also our client for their ambitious project of providing 20 lakh jobs. So for them, the intelligence layer is used for the answering the customer questions on for the government side. For Estee Lauder companies, their internal users use in the R&D and clinical research side. For them, our SC is acting as a consumption layer on top of their data lake. So their business users comes and ask the questions related to research and development. It will extract information and collate and give back to the customer.
Great.
So our focus expertise is in the BFSI sector. Like our first client was Federal Bank. So we have other, say, more interesting use cases also coming from.
Yeah, I think that it's a very competition heavy space, Joseph. I'm sure you're aware.
Right.
So I'm maybe later on I'm interested to understand your sales cycle, and I know you mentioned how you are different, but I would want to understand a little bit more on when you say it goes to the source of the data and all of that. So maybe we can talk about it later.
Sure, Deepak.
Yes, Deepak. So maybe you can visit their stall and maybe you can have the detailed interaction there. Any more questions, Judy? Any more questions to Joseph and Team Reafine? Okay, thank you, Joseph, for that great presentation of SA.ai, and we really do hope let the product get scaled. It will get implemented in the many of the banks and other enterprises, and let SA.ai scale so fast in future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Prajit. Thank you for your time.
Okay, moving on next. Do we have the representative from FinSal Resources online? Anyone from FinSol? Okay, so next we are going with the presentation of Remitap Fintech Solutions Private Limited. I think Abhishek has joined from Remitap.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey Abhishek, how are you?
Hi there, I'm good. How are you guys?
Great. Big demo days going on,
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So Abhishek, you have exactly got 10 minutes for the presentation, 7 minutes exactly presentation, and 3 minutes for the Q&A. You can start now.
Perfect. So hi everyone. If you could just let me know if you can see my screen right now.
Yes, we can see your screen and you're pretty well audible.
Perfect. So good morning to every one of you who are present over here right now. So introducing you Remitap. So our tagline goes that money that moves your way. So we have a super payment application that we have developed, which facilitates both international remittance, domestic remittance, that is domestic payments through QR codes, your utility bill payments, and also credit line offerings such as Visa prepaid credit cards and few other things, which I'll be showing you later in the presentation. So coming to the problem right now in the market. So currently in the market, if you know, there's no universal application for domestic international remittances and also as well as utility payments. So you may have domestic applications like Paytm, Google Pay coming to international, like the US market, you have Venmo, you have Cash App, but they're focused on the domestic part. For the international remittance part, you have to depend upon the other applications like World Remit, TransferWise, a few other applications in that sector. So there's no universal application of that kind, which facilitates both your domestic needs and your international needs, as well as your utility payments and your other neo-banking features. So coming to the problems that are there in this sector, if you go both with the both domestic and international, so this is not a generic to the Indian ecosystem, it is generic to the global ecosystem of the payment applications. So you have high transfer fees in case of your domestic payments. So in India, you have UPI right now, which slowly they might be charging fees and charges on, especially they've started on utility payments, like if you're paying your credit card bills, you're doing your mobile recharges, PhonePe has already started charging you. And likewise, in other countries, prospective countries, or like underdeveloped countries like Africa, or also the most developed countries like United States, you still have to pay a hectic amount of transfer fees. Coming to the international remittance part, you have poor exchange rates. So the main thing, the players right now in the market are being taking advantage of the less scarcity of the applications or the connectivity of the international payments. So either they depend upon the banks or the other local processors for transferring payments to one country to another country, which leads to poor exchange rates. Depending upon applications to applications, again, in terms of both, or not both actually, in terms of all three, domestic payments, international payments, and utility payments, you have slow processing times. So in case of India, it's pretty fast forward right now because of the dependence on or the leverage on the UPI. You can do fast payments, but still in countries like even United States, you have to make the wait for the payments to be processed for at least 24 hours because they don't have still the technology of the instant payments. It's something called ACH that the people or the consumers depend upon, automated clearing house. Coming to other, again, underdeveloped countries in Africa like Botswana and other key markets like Zimbabwe, they have slow processing times where payments would take somewhere between 24 to 48 hours to process. Coming to international remittance, again, you have limited delivery methods. So I'll give you an example. Suppose a person's trying to send money from USA to India. Some applications offer only direct payments to bank accounts where they don't have dependency on different wallets available in the country or different UPI IDs. So that's the case of India. In case of Nepal, again, you have limited delivery methods where people could only transfer to the bank accounts. They don't have cash pickups or they don't have wallet transfers where the money would be credited instantly. Lack of security with the applications. So if anyone would have used World Remit or TransferWise, so the security parameters for processing our transactions are very low because they don't have any two-factor authentication or any payments. They just process the payments with the money available in your wallet or either by your card by entering your CVV or the OTPs. So none of the transactions are processed through any PIN or any biometrics. Accessibility issues. So again, we're targeting the the global market. So the most accessibility issue comes with the simplicity of the application and the usability of the application in their own language, where the people could transfer money or they could make payments with their own language. So we are focusing on the global part, where we customize the application according to every country's local needs and preferences, including the language and the usability. So this is a solution. We have developed a super payment app, which is simple and secure. So all your transactions are processed securely with the two-factor authentication or biometric or a PIN, where you could process both domestic and international remittances. We also make sure to provide with our key partnerships in the market. We provide the best Forex rate, guaranteed best Forex rate in the market right now. The lowest fees for both your domestic transfer, domestic payments, or even in case of international payments, and also for utility payments. So again, as told in the demo, so we also have utility payments where we are offering not only limited. So again, we have developed in the application such a way that any country that we go to, we can easily integrate with the local banks, NBFCs, financial institutions, the utility payment vendors. Their APIs can be easily consumed within our application so that the transactions are processed securely and fast. And with all this facility within one application, you could pay your electricity bill, your gas bill, you could book your flight tickets, you could book your train tickets, bus tickets, pay your credit card bills, do your domestic transfers, and and send money abroad as well. Coming to the market size, so the market size according to the World Statistica research right now, the current market size as of 2022 stands at $81.3 billion, with an expected market size from 2030 it is $361 billion, which is a CAGR or the growth rate of 20.5% in 8 years. Coming to our product, so we have a digital wallet where you could store money, you could pay your bills instantly, or without even the wallet, you could depend upon the cards or the local financial institutions like the direct bank debits can take place within our application, where we make sure to give you assured real-time transactions. None of the transactions would be on a delayed basis. It would be on a real-time basis. And we also developed a robust KYC platform where we do the KYC of the customers within a span of 2 to 3 minutes. The entire KYC process is done with all the compliance of the every country standards. We have international transfers. We also have rewards and cashback. So if you know, none of the international payments application right now are offering any rewards or cashback. So we have developed an unique module where we have turned the application to a gamification model, where with every transaction that you process through our app, whether it's international payments, domestic payments, or any bill payments, you would be earning rewards with every transaction, guaranteed rewards and cashbacks. High-grade security, again, as I told, so all the transactions are processed with the two-factor authentication, and you can pay your utility bills. Coming to our business model, so we have
Abhishek, you have got 1 minute left.
Yeah, coming to the business model, we have B2C and B2B model where we are going business to customer in certain countries like United States. We are going directly business to customers. In coming to B2B, we have done a B2B strategy in countries like Africa, Saudi Arabia, Canada, where we partner with the local key partnerships over there on a partnership model where we take care of the fintech application and they take care of the business operations in collaboration with a revenue sharing model. We launch the application over there. All our revenues based on fees and commissions charged on every transaction. The market is any individual looking to buy goods, make payments, send remittance, etc. In case of international, it would be immigrants and migrant workers. Selling point of the application is a universal application and an easy, convenient, everyday usage of the application. We also make sure to not provide any hidden fees and real-time settlement. And advertisement is mainly dependent upon the social media influencer marketing, and distribution of the application would be through App Store and Play Store, a native application for both, as well as a web portal. So this is the competition which I won't go. So these are the few use cases and the graph chart which provides a clear clarity on how Remitap stands distinguishing from other competitors. So our story, we launched in Nepal in quarter 2021. We have almost 85,000 plus active customers and processing almost 40,000 plus transactions per month. And we are also processing almost NPR 35 million plus transaction volume. And Remitap is further number 2 and number 3 in Play Store consecutively in finance category within a span of 1 year. Our go-to-market strategy in US, we have key partnerships with Plaid, Move, and Currency Cloud, which is recently acquired by Visa. In Nepal, we have partnered with bank directly called Machapucha Bank Limited, where we have launched the application partnership model. In Canada, we have our own license, remittance license, and the FinTrack license. In India, we have partnered. We are launching an application called DMT for laborers, where we have partnered with Yes Bank. In Botswana, we have partnered with MoneyGlobe to introduce a super payment application in the market, which is a multi-billion-dollar company, owned company by Choppies Group. And our team, myself, I'm the co-founder and director, Mr. Anil Sham, who's the founder and managing director, Mr. Melvin Zakia, who's the chief technical officer, and followed by Thomas, Michael, and Lawrence, who are based out of USA, who are the legal directors and the other directors in the company. Our ask is $5 million, and the use of funds would be for pre-funding settlement accounts for carrying out instant international remittances in various countries, funding promotional activities, expanding our team, and expanding business to other potential countries. So yeah, that's from my side.
Great presentation, Abhishek. Great presentation about Remitap. I guess, Sanil from Yes Bank will be joining the panel discussion that will be happening immediately after this pitch. So
yes,
when he comes to know about this, he'll be very proud.
Yes, definitely. We have a key partnership with Yes Bank for the Indian market.
Right. So yeah, Jury, we will take quick 2 questions. Any questions for Abhishek and team?
Hi, Abhishek. Abhishek, on the international transfer, how economical is Remitap compared to TransferWise and PayPal? And secondly, if this is such a if there is such a problem, then why have such big players not really come and tapped into it?
Yeah. So the advantage that we have, it was Ruchi, right?
Yes.
Ruchi. Yeah. Hi, Ruchi. So Ruchi, so the key problem right now with the international payment application is because of the leverage of the technology. So what most of the TransferWise and PayPal, what they're doing is they're depending upon the bank's infrastructure to process the international remittances, where we are providing our own network of remittances with our key partnerships in the local markets, like for example, Nepal. We have Machapucha Bank, where we can provide international remittance liquidity within seconds in real-time basis because of the partnership that we have. Same way in Canada, where we have pre-funded these accounts. So using this pre-funded model, we can disperse money immediately in a real-time basis. Even if you take in case of Remitly is also transferring money, but they're taking, so their normal transfer ranges between 24 to 48 hours. But they're charging an express. There's something called express also, which allows you to deliver the money between 3 to 4 hours. It still takes 3 to 4 hours, which is not real time. And that they do using the pre-fund model. But again, they have to depend upon the bank's liquidity to fund these transactions. But in our case, we are providing our own network and our own funds for liquidating these international remittances real-time basis.
But Wise transfers immediately. I've used it before.
Which one?
Wise, TransferWise.
TransferWise only in certain countries that they're doing liquidity in a few seconds. That also is not few seconds. It would take somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, where again, they're basically charging you higher fees. So if you see a TransferWise transaction, you must be charged somewhere between $15 to $20. But at the same time, we'll be providing those same transfers on a real-time basis between $3 to $5.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Let's connect afterwards. I think it would be interesting.
And I'm sure Joey will have a lot of questions to for Abhishek and team. But we are running short of time, so we may have to wind this pitch for the time being. Thanks a lot, Abhishek.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Looking forward to connect with you, Ruchi.
Yes. So always, all these investors, they will visit your stall and they will take that discussion ahead.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So now we have Tim and Divya, Mr. Tim and Divya from FinSol, who will be presenting about their product. Are you there, Divya? Can you hear me, Divya?
Yeah, I can hear you. This is Tim Matthews. Divya will be joining us as well.
Yes. So Tim, you have 10 minutes, 7 minutes exactly for the presentation and 3 minutes for the Q&A.
Sure.
We may start now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. I would just like to introduce the whole concept before I let Divya take over the presentation. We as a company, FinSol, are into insurance premium financing, but that is not what I'll be presenting today. We have developed a product which over the years that we have been working with customers in the field of insurance, we have understood that a lot of companies, SMEs, and individuals have a tough time keeping a track of all their insurance. So for example, today I can see in front of me about 17 people in this room. And if I were to ask you, do you have one place where all your life insurance, health insurance, motor insurance is kept? Then the answer would be no. There are options currently available. There are digital lockers which are currently available. They're very, very cumbersome. And they are to go through them, install it, and use it is difficult for everyone. Right. So this is a solution that we currently use at FinSol, and we would like to create a new product called Infinite. Infinite stands for insurance, infinite insurances that you can keep. The ease of use is something that we'll be showcasing. Divya will be walking through the presentation. And the intention is we're not looking for funds from investors. Some of our investors are already in this panel. Ruchi from Unicorn. Unicorn has supported us from day one. As a company, this product is something that is new. We will be presenting it to companies, individuals, and affinity partners that we have. We also would like to share it with SMEs that are going to be coming for the big demo day, and hopefully this should help the HR of most of the SMEs fine tune their policies much easier. Right. So Divya, if you could just go ahead, unmute yourself, and go ahead with the pitch, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Divya. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Yeah. So going ahead, I would like you to go through this presentation.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sure.
Divya, if you can we can't see your screen. If you can just screen share.
Yeah. I'm doing so. So is it visible now?
No, not to me. Jury members, is it visible to you?
No, it's not.
No.
Okay, just give me 1 minute, sir.
Divya, I have shared it on the screen. You can go ahead. I'll just use it as a presentation.
Yes. We can see the screen now. You can start, Divya.
Okay, fine. As a company, Infinite, we are here with a problem. So the problem is basically for finding the insurance policy document at the time of the need. Whenever we need a document, so whenever we want a claim settlement, sometimes what happens that whenever we physically we just keep our policy somewhere else, and at the time of claim settlement, we are in so much hurry that we are unable to find the document. So Infinite here is providing the solution of keeping your policy documents safe. So the problem is finding the insurance policy document at the time of the need, which is very difficult, getting a duplicate document issued, and not easily accessible by family members. It happens sometimes that a customer takes the policy on behalf of his wife, daughter, son, or nearest or dearest ones. But the people doesn't know about that a policy has been taken on their name. It is also a problem reaching intermediaries. Like we take policies from agents, and then we might delete the number, or we might just get disconnected from them. So we are just unable to reach the intermediaries at the time of the need. So these are the problems which a customer faces in the daily lives. So coming to the solutions, what Infinite provides. Next slide, sir. So here, Infinite comes with a solution to maintain, store, and archive your policy at one place, lowering the risk of loss or damage to the policy document, easy access to intermediaries, sharing with your friends and families. Like at a time, we can share the policy with our family members. We can ask them to download this app, and we can easily share easily, and they can have easy access to the policies. So I'll like you to go. I would like you to go through the app also. So here is our first login page of Infinite. So basically, we have to put our email ID and mobile number, enter password if we already have signed up. We'll log in, and then here click on the plus icon. We can add the policies here. If we click on the add button, next. Here we get the kind of policies, what type of policies we have taken. It might be a car, health, home, endowment, retirement, whatsoever policies we have taken. We'll choose. The fifth step is insurance company. Which insurance company we have taken the policies from, we'll choose. Next. If like there are three forms of policies. First is physical form of policy. If we have a physical form of policy, then we can easily take the photo of that policy and save it here. If the company has provided us the PDF of the policy online, we can upload the PDF of the policy there. And the third is if we want to manually input our details in the platform, we can also do that. Like going ahead, if we upload a policy, after 48 hours of uploading, the policy will be showing on the screen. If we want to manually enter the details of the policy, the insured details will be filled here. Insured first name, last name, relationship to the insured. If the customer has taken policy for his son or daughter, he'll be adding the relationship of the insured's date of birth. Policy details will be here. The starting date of policy, the expiry date of policy, the policy name, policy number, and premium amount. Going ahead, sir, please to the back page. Yeah, going ahead, coverage details will be there. Like if a customer has taken insurance,
you have got 1 minute left.
What's up?
You have got 1 minute left.
Okay, so going ahead, coverage details will be there, and the contact details. If we have taken a customer has taken agent the policy from agent, we can also put the details of agent there. Going ahead, here our policies will be showing on the screen. So like if you have taken the policies, that was also. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Tim, and thanks a lot, Divya, for that presentation about Infinite. Great product indeed. Any questions? We can take one question from the jury. Any questions, jury, for Infinite team? I'm sure Unicorn Ventures will not have any questions. They know the product very well. But again, Shruti, Deepak, Pandeep, Sumil, do you have any questions for Finsol team, Infinite team? Okay, so I guess with the interest of time, even investors are trying to align with this. Of course, they will definitely visit your stall and have a deeper interaction. Thanks a lot, Mr. Tim, and thanks a lot, Divya, for that outstanding presentation about Infinite.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prajit.
Next, moving on. Next, we will have the presentation on remit payments from Mr. Ashin, who is the founder of the company. Mr. Ashin, are you there?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Prajit.
Hi, Ashin, how are you?
Good, good, good. What about you?
So, Ashik, you have exactly got 10 minutes, 11 minutes for the presentation, and 3 minutes for the Q&A. You can start now.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, I will just share my screen.
Any issues you are facing, Ashik?
Yeah, I'm getting some issue. One second. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Hi, myself Ashin. I'm the founder of Remit. Remit is about all-in-one payment system, which is for the financial institutions that do not have a banking license. We are inspired by UPI. So the financial institution that includes cooperative credit societies, NIFI companies, NBFCs, and other financial institutions. The ecosystem is built not only for the financial institutions, but also for the facilitators like payment aggregators, merchants, and government agencies. So we operate as a we are an operator for this payment system. The problem we found is there is no payment system which is available for these financial institutions since they don't have a banking license from RBI. And most of the transactions are based on the cash or offline. So when we do the offline, the reconciliation part will be much difficult. The solution, we found a solution for this. We built a real-time payment system, and we enable APIs for these financial institutions to use the better banking for the better banking experience. Also, we made a mobile application which is useful for the users of the financial institutions. So not only the remit is not only just for the financial transactions, but also it helps these financial institutions to scale their business, which is not yet they have explored. Also, we offer non-smartphone. We offer this payment system for the non-smartphone or aged users as well. So these are the features. Currently, we are ready with anywhere withdrawal deposit, P2P payment, and P2 payment at retail model. And we'll be launching in a couple of days or a couple of weeks e-commerce payment system and existing payment networks. Like we'll be exploring the existing payment networks like UPI, NAFTA, TBS. And we'll be onboarding the government departments, and it will automatically, when we scale, it will automatically facilitate banking across the country. So in the next phase, we are planning for alternative payment authentication system, which is without OTP or PIN. And we'll be adding another module like quick loan approval and disbursement. So there are a few advantages for this. So the financial institution can explore in a wider network, which helps them to scale and provide end-to-end payment service for their customers. They can explore into different business models, and they don't need to invest heavily on the ATM machines and the service charges. And of course, it will automatically reduce the time and cost for the process. And these are the, as I said, these are the scalability plan that we have. The commercials are we charge a one-time fee and security deposit, a refundable one, and we charge for per transaction. these are the results we expect. So the result which is we are trying to compete, or we are trying to implement a system that help them to upgrade themselves as a commercial bank. So finally, this is all about a payment system for the financial institution that does not hold a banking license.
Thank you, Ashin, for presenting Remit. Jury members, do you have any questions for Ashin and the team Remit? Any questions for Remit, jury members? Okay, so I guess Ashin, jury members will definitely be interacting with you over the virtual stall. So please be there.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
Ashin,
Ashin, for the presentation. Moving on, next we have the last product for the day, last startup who will be presenting their product. Rogel and Arun from Pix Dynamics. Are you there?
Yes, we are here. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you very well. So Rogel, you have 10 minutes, 7 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for the Q&A. You can start now.
Okay. I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you can see it.
Yes, we can see it. Just so, yeah, we can see it now, and you're audible as well.
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. I'll turn off my camera as well. Okay.
Rogel, you can start anyways.
Yeah, sure. So, good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. My name is Rogel. I'm co-founder of Pix Dynamics. We are one of the leading partners of major banks in South India in their digital transformation journey. We are revolutionizing the banking industry with our powerful AI automation tools. So, the pain point, the opportunity that we see here is that most of the banks have, what to say, like the banking industry is a complex industry. There's a lot of chaos in the back end. Think about an account opening scenario where the users have to submit a lot of filled in forms, and these forms have to be handled from the back end by a huge number of employees. So the major task that they involve is like collecting information from these documents and feeding it to the backend service, identity verification, or so all these tasks are consuming a lot of human resource development, human resource. And so what if we can automate these processes? So that is our solution, Pixel. So Pixel is an AI-based automation solution which can process images, documents, and videos with high accuracy to extract information from these documents and feed it back to the system. So our major focus areas are like compliance management. We have KYC verification and onboarding solutions, and we have intelligent document processing and also workflow automation. So Pixel as such is a suite of components. So one of our major product is the video KYC solution. So video KYC solution is a complete onboarding solution which has which includes the data collection to a very enhanced, powerful video session in which we have a lot of AI enabled actions like face matching, we have face tracking, and we have signature matching. So all sort of items are there in the video KYC solution. And we provide that is online and offline solution. In offline solution, the user, everything happens in the device, and at the end, we send out the video recording of that entire session. So the next item is intelligent document processing. So that consists of various type of documents, like invoices can be processed, resumes can be processed. The difference or the USP here is that it is templateless. We can process any template invoice and we can process any template resumes. So that is one of our main product. And also we have national ID masking. That's actually the other ID masking where the part of the other have to be masked, and that is as per the RPI guidelines. So we have a solution that is used by some of our clients. Passport reader and voter ID reader that actually reads content of the passport and it verifies the authenticity of the passport as well. the face recognition and liveness detection. We are using that inside the video KYC as well. Like we are matching the face from the live video feed to the photo of like on the Aadhaar or maybe on the PAN card. And for liveness detection, we use the face tracking and some other audio visual AI-based tools. We have KYC classifier and extractor, which is where we started our company or our major product. Initial investment came in or revenue came in through those two products for legacy image processing. Also, signature verification, as the name suggests, it matches one signature to the other. So our business model majorly is transaction-based model. For example, for video KYC, we charge around 15 rupees per transaction. So, and for every product here, we have a slab for that. So when we look into the market sizing, you can see there are like on that. So this is a size for the Indian market. So initially we are trying to achieve a portion of the Indian market and also trying to go global. We attended the GTEX and we're going to attend the Japan. There's an ILS when going to happen. So right now we are trying to achieve this Indian market. So this is just a glimpse into what the industry is like. From this source, we can see that the Indian market size is like 50 billion now, and it is expected to be 150 in like 2025. So that is a huge market that we are looking into. Currently, we have like 14-15 clients, out of which 4 are banks and 3 NBFCs are there. We have forex trading and technology service companies like 3. There are a few POCs going on now, like they are in the United States and they are like nearly to be converted. Our financials and the projections are like last year we have 85 lakhs. Right, this year our target is around 4 CR and going on like 1672. So the competitive advantage against all of our competitors, like one of them is the complete on-premise solution. That means we are able to provide the complete solution in their premises itself, which is very.
Rajal, sorry to interrupt. You have 1 minute left.
Yeah, this is last. So so as I was saying, we can provide on-premises. We also have cloud capability, but banks require or they requested us for on-premise, and there is no dependency for third-party services, so that we don't have any extra charge for that third party. So we are able to give at a very competitive price, and we are proud of the very low resolution document processing, which is very much required in some cases where the documents provided in banks are a photocopy of a photocopy. So we had situations like that. We have separate algorithm for processing those images. So these are our USPs. And introduce you to the founders here. Myself, Rojal. We have Arun and Abhilash as the co-founders here. So yeah, that is pretty much. We can move on to the QA session.
Thanks a lot, Rojal. Thanks a lot, Team Fix Dynamics. I guess it's an interesting product for any enterprises dealing with the financial matters, especially banks. And right after this, we have a panel discussion which comprises of the leaders from the 4 banks. Probably, they will come and interact with you. Meanwhile, any questions, Jury, to the Team Fix Dynamics? Any questions, Deepak, Shruti, Ruchi, Mandeep, Sumit? Great. Yeah. So with that, we have come to the end of the startup pitches. We had actually 2 more startups who were about to pitch, eWire and Chiller, but due to some reasons, they could not able to join for the pitch today. But again, their team is there exhibiting at the Big Demo Day platform, and you can feel free to have an interaction with them there. So that comes to the end of the startup pitch, but really that's not an end, because we have this a very crucial thing of feedback. So after any presentation, we would like to know the feedback, like whether it was good, whether the flow was good, and what are the things to be improved at all. And we have got very experienced jury members here who will give that feedback. So yeah, I will invite the jury to give the feedback on today's presentation, today's startup presentation, like what you felt, where you feel that startups need to improve, which is that area where you felt that startups are quite strong and any suggestion for Kerala Startup Mission? So over to you, Judy. Maybe Mandeep, you wanna go first?
Sure. So I think overall, the event was conducted very well. You guys started on time, maintained the time. Everybody got a reasonable amount of duration to present. So from an organization perspective, I think it was well conducted, and thank you for that. From individual startups, also, I think there was a healthy mix of startups from early stage to the later ones. So that was also good. In terms of individual presentations, I think some did better than the others, of course, but that's part of the game. So no specific pointers on that. Going forward, and this is what I've observed in some of the other competitions, startup competitions, that is, especially the ones which are conducted online. If you can request for feedback after each and every startup presents, that will be better, and have some kind of an online mechanism, like a Google form kind of a thing, where you can put down the metrics that you want us to assess the startups on and give individual ratings right after the pitch is done. That would be a little more helpful, because then that startup is fresh in your mind, right? And you can immediately provide feedback, subjective as well as objective. So that was one thing I was looking for, and maybe you can think of including it the next time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mandeep. So in fact, we are trying to conduct this, investor. So we normally conduct this investor cafe. So anyways, soon in the next coming weeks, we'll be conducting that, and definitely, we will. Usually, we give more time for our startups to present and more time for the interaction with the investors, wherein investors will get time to evaluate the startups accordingly. So because this was like a 10 minutes presentation, so we had to make that intact. So that's why. But well taken. Next demo days, we will definitely be incorporating your suggestions, and looking forward to collaborate more with Chirate Ventures in the days to come. Thanks a lot, Mandeep, for your suggestion.
Super. Thank you.
Ruchi, do you have any feedback, any suggestions for Kerala Startup Mission and the startups? Ruchi, are you there? Okay, Deepak, do you have any suggestions for Kerala Startup Mission and Kerala startups who presented today?
Yeah, no, I think very well captured by Mandeep. I had the same feeling that there's probably a scoring sheet or something that we could use for our own benefit, so that we can follow up later. So I think that is the main point. Otherwise, I think the few of the startups presented very well. Roberto.
Hello.
Yeah. So overall well conducted. I think just a tip to the founders. Some of the founders, I think, spend less time on the features, spend more time on the impact and the value that you're creating for your customers. I think there were a couple of pitches where we've done that, but that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Deepak. Thanks a lot. In fact, India Accelerator have been a great partner. We are actually running a cohort of health tech startup accelerator with India Accelerator, and some amazing experience Kerala Startup Mission is having with the team of India Accelerator. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, team India Accelerator, for always being a great supporter of Kerala Startup ecosystem.
Thanks, Prajit.
Sumil, do you have any suggestions? Do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I think Mandeep pretty much summed up what I wanted to say. But the 2 cents that I would like to say are, yes, firstly, it was pretty well organized, pretty well moderated by you as well, Prajit. Thank you for that. Just a small feedback I can give is, obviously, some startups were pitched pretty better than the others. If we could have more time in terms of Q&A or talking to the startups after the pitch, that will be more helpful. In line with what even Deepak said, that if we could have a feedback mechanism or some more time to interact with these startups and have more questions, I think that will be great going forward. Other than that, it was very well managed. Great pitches by the startups who came in. So yeah, thank you for hosting us, Prajit.
Input well taken, Sumil. I guess the timing of the pitch session is something which we should definitely focus on, and we assure you that in the next big demo days we will keep a longer session for the startup pitches, wherein we will get adequate time for both the jury and the startup to talk to each other and get some time to evaluate them. Maybe have a feedback session after session or pitch after pitch. We will.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot.
Excellent.
Thank you, Samir. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we expect a deeper engagement with We Founder Circle in the days to come. Thanks a lot.
Surely looking forward to it. Thanks, Pradeep.
Ruchi, are you there? Okay, so with that, we have come to the end of the startup pitcher session. Thanks a lot to all the jury members to spend some valuable time. I know your days are very hectic, and we should really thank you to consider Kerala Startup Mission, consider our startups to spend some time with us, and really appreciate that. We look forward to collaborate with you all in the days to come. Thanks a lot, dear jury members. Moving forward.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mandeep. Thanks a lot. Moving forward, now we have a session which is something very crucial for the startups and the open innovation ecosystem. So as you know, the concept of B2B collaboration, when it comes to startups, it is always necessary for them. When it comes to enterprise startup, it is always necessary for them to get a proper market validation after they create their MVP. And when it comes to the corporate side, they always look for some smarter and agile way of doing things, especially the quicker way of doing innovative things, and that they will be always happy to collaborate with the startups on that front. And nowadays, this corporate startup engagement is highly glorified, and you can see that in every corporate department there is an open innovation department, or there is a R&D department who would like to explore working with the startups. On that front, today we have a session, a panel discussion. When it comes to fintech domain, banks are some of the prominent customers for the startups, especially for the startups who are showcasing today. So we have a session especially on banks and startups, wherein the discussion will be mainly on the collaboration between the banks and the startups, like how banks can collaborate with the startups and how that relationship can build a win-win kind of relationship in the future, in the days to come. So to discuss that, to have a healthy discussion, to have a very informative and power-packed discussion on that, today we have four eminent leaders from the Indian banking and as well startup ecosystem of India. So we have Mr. Sushant Shetty, Senior Vice President of DBS Bank. Welcome, Sushant. We have Mr. Vishwanath Divya, who is the AGM for India Post Payments Bank. Welcome, Mr. Vishwanath Divya.
Thanks, Pradeep.
We have Mr. Sanil C, who is the National Sales Head for Yes Bank. Welcome, Mr. Sanil.
Thanks, Pradeep.
And we have Mr. Jitesh TV, who heads the FinTech partnerships for the Federal Bank. Welcome, Jitesh. To moderate this session, we have a very active, very senior leader from the Kerala startup ecosystem, who used to be the president of Calicut Management Association, and now he heads the organization, a consulting organization called Vriddhi Consulting, and is involved in every activities of Kerala Startup Mission. He is a mentor to many young officers of Kerala Startup Mission. In fact, we daily used to call him and take his advices to conduct various events and other kinds of engagements. Let me welcome Mr. Ajayan, K.A. Ajayan, to moderate this highly power-packed panel. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Prajit. Thank you, KSUM team, and thanks everyone. And am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very important panel discussion on banks and startups. Before we go for the detailed discussions, panel discussions, where we have very eminent young bankers with lots of experience, as well as those who know what's happening in banking today. Let me give a brief intro about the topic. With the ever-changing technology and the rise of fintech startups, traditional banking, people say, is at an inflection point. There was a point where it was even discussed whether the giants, that's the banks and NBFCs, are under threat from these nimble startups, especially the fintechs. We have now seen that banks and fintechs have long since moved on from that position, and the mindset has changed from competition to collaborations, and they are willing to coexist and collaborate. That's a welcome change that has happening. And FICCI BCG report suggests that the fintech industry in India is expected to grow at $150 billion by 2025. And traditional banks and NBFC, because of this collaborative nature, will continue to play a critical role in shaping the bank fintech collaborative ecosystem. Banks and fintechs have huge customer base, wide presence, market reach, and they sit on a huge gold mine. I don't know whether they still are aware of that. The gold mine is the database. That's a wonderful thing that the traditional banking system and BFCs are having now. And the fintechs come with the innovation that can drive the transformation with the new technologies, AI, ML, etc. Now, without wasting much time, let us move on to the panel discussion. We have a very interesting panelist today, Mr. Vishwanath Divya. There's no, it's not on. I'm calling saying the names of panelists not on any priority. It is on a random basis. Mr. Sorry about that. Mr. Vishwanath Divya, head marketing of Indian Post Payments Bank, is an experienced banker. His business is skilled in banking, customer relationship management, sales operations, sales management, team building, strong business development, professional expertise in microfinance and microinsurance. Welcome, Vishwanath Divya.
Thank you
for
sir.
being
Thank you so much.
We have Mr. Jitesh PV, Vice President and Head Digital Marketing at Federal Bank. He is an experienced banker, very familiar at all these bank fintech interactions, and he's also in charge and heads the fintech partnership for Federal Bank. Welcome to the discussion, Mr. Jitesh PV. Mr. Jitesh is available. Okay, Mr. Sanil Chorinjat, he's the president and national sales head of CMS Retail at Yes Bank. And he's in charge of banking strategy, fintech, startups, and alliances. He's the regional head of transactions banking group for South and East for Yes Bank. He has an overall experience of close to 20 years. Welcome, Mr. Sanil.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Yeah. We have Mr. Sushant Shetty, Senior VP of DBS Bank. He's a professional in banking industry with 12 years experience in diversified roles in sales, relationship management, project execution, and strategic initiatives. Welcome, Sushant Shetty, for this session. Hope Sushant is here.
Thank you, Ajay, sir. Yeah, I am here. Thank you, Ajay, sir, and a very good afternoon to everybody.
Yeah, great. So these all these panelists have lots of experience in interacting with the startups. So our panel discussion, we had an initial interaction with the panelists. Our panel discussion will focus more on how this relationship can go forward. How can we build a healthy relationship? What are the pain points and what are the suggestions, viewpoints from these experienced bankers? So to take the discussion forward, let us discuss whether the banks are looking at fintech collaboration as a game-changing opportunity. That's very important to reach out to customers and meeting the changing customer expectations, because the customer expectations have been totally changed by the interventions of fintechs, which bankers were not aware earlier. So that has totally changed, and the fintechs have they are changing customer expectation levels. Let us see what are the let us have a discussion on this. Which are the main challenges faced on onboarding startup at this point of time or fintech? And what are the suggestions to make it smooth? Mr. Sanil, can you just proceed with this to start with this interaction, Mr. Sanil?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ajay. Thanks for the question, and good afternoon to everybody on this panel and those who are watching this particular program. And it's a pleasure to be on this KSUM platform. KSUM, we actually go back a few years. We have the privilege of being one of the earliest associators with KSUM in terms of a banking alliance with Ashok and Prajesh and other people in the KSUM. It's a pleasure to be on this panel. So just to coming back to your point in terms of collaborating with startups and specifically on fintechs, as a bank, when we started off, we also have a DNA. This is what we discuss in most of the interactions with fintechs and startups, that we have a DNA of a startup. When we started off as a bank, we did not have any institution backing before that, and hence we know the pains and aches that a startup goes through. And although we can't take pivot calls based on the day-to-day kind of changes, because we have a regulation to follow. RBI and NPCI and all the other regulators are there to guide us what to do, what not to do. So within those framework, we do a lot of things which to partner with startups and fintechs. So there are areas which we have also identified that these are the high growth areas, or potential areas for the bank also to associate with fintechs, to go to market with them, take them to market through us. There are so many solutions which we try to build with them. If you talk about the challenges, if at all there are any in terms of associating with startups or fintechs, it is properly in terms of numbers, the huge numbers that we receive as applications or interest from the startups. Being one of the startup friendly bank, so to say, we get this feedback many times over. We have been receiving many requests from the market to associate in terms of multiple solutions and products. Most of the time, for the same solution, there will be multiple people representing the solution. So it is the problem of many rather than anything else. So we also have to evaluate which are the kind of ideas or which are kind of entities which will be a long-standing company with us, long-standing partnership for us. Because I'm sure you will appreciate when we are lending our name or lending a bank's name, we have to make sure that that collaboration works well within the market.
Absolutely.
And that has to be a long-standing relationship, and the customer should feel the difference through this. And it should not be that for some time it is there, after some time it is not there. It should not be those kind of solutions that we should come up with. So we look at longevity, we look at the solution aptness in the market, if we are able to make a difference into the market and customers' livelihoods, and how much is the commercial impact of that happening for the customer, for the fintech, and for the bank. It should be a win-win situation for all the parties involved. So we do have these kind of challenges, which is a good to have kind of a challenge. And I'm sure we have a team, or we have actually 2-3 teams within the bank itself to identify these kind of partnerships. There are use cases which are used within the bank for, like you mentioned, AI, ML. Those are kind of used many times internally, which is not even impacting the customer, which is used for internal purposes. There are solutions which we come up with along with fintechs, which is customer facing. That is where a lot of media coverage also happens. Like we keep talking about this, 1/3 of UPI transactions is processed by Yes Bank of the entire country. So these are through fintech alliances, and we are always looking for more partnerships and more fresher ideas, new ideas to work with as such. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanil. Thank you. That's very good. Very good input for, especially for the startups, and what all things they should be careful when making the pitch or presenting it to you. Now, another important aspect now being talked about is regarding financial inclusion. The fintech entry has totally may change the scenario as such, as far as the financial inclusion is concerned. How this digital revolution and collaboration with the startups is critical in increasing the penetration of the formal financial services in India? I would like to ask this to Mr. Vishwanath, because especially because you have a wide range of penetration. You have a great penetration and good physical as well as digital presence also, the IPPB. And considering a wide reach, including the remotest areas, how do you see that you can take it forward, and what are the areas that you would like startups to work on? Mr. Vishwanath.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning to everyone being a participant or watching this panel discussion. Happy Diwali to everyone. Sorry for keeping it on a day when we are all in the festivities mood. But nevertheless, very well said, sir. This initiative of Department of Post has been to realize the aspirations of the government of India to take the banking to every doorstep. And as we all have been working very hard for last 6 years to set up something which can really be looked up at as a kind of a model to be replicated across the world, and it's actually something done in a very nice way. So this reaching out to customers in every nook and corner of the country, and as we understand, the Department of Post has its own infra in terms of post offices, people to some extent trained, but yes, not may not be as a banker. Uh, but at least there is an inroad, there is a possibility of reaching out, offering these services uh, in terms of making them financially included. Uh, the entire concept of uh, literacy, for which we were supposed to have the people trained in the banking domain, which was not earlier provided to these postmans and Grameen Dak Sevaks. So their average profiles was more into postal service deliveries. To some extent, the PPF, NSCs, and other financial products were there from the fold of Ministry of Finance, distributed through Department of Post, through the other agent channel that they had. There is something called postal agents who do that. But it was not at par or maybe interoperable with the formal banking system that we were able to clearly plug the gap. Now the collaboration, since we were anyways onto the mission of getting it done in terms of financial inclusion, and that too on a digital platform, a complete paperless bank from the stable of a government department, was quite unheard of and was seemingly an impossible challenge to be delivered. And it's a mountain to be moved. Like a Department of Post is a 150 years, 160-year-old organization, and to make it transform to deliver something paperless, backed by technology. Uh, to the simplicity level of a very, very common man, last man in the pyramid. Uh, yes, but then it has its own limitations. And the collaboration is the key word for us also. And we realize it pretty fast. I mean, in the third year of, rather in the operations of when we hit the mark around 4.5 crore customers in the country, we realize that it's just not about reaching out to them. It's also about meeting their financial requirements. Many are the product that we can create, we will create. But in terms of, for example, if there is something which has to be data driven, where the AI and MLs of the world has to come to play, where the agility of an organization to deliver as per the requirement of the customer and to be delivered through the distribution channel that we have. So technology has to play a role, and obviously any organization like Menon sir said right now, we all will have some of the challenges to meet all the requirement in that sense. Now, to meet that requirement, we also have started an initiative through Minister of Communications last year, which we call Fincluvision, which invites such people. We portray out the challenge statements there, and then which we feel is okay for us to go ahead with in the phases, and we keep on exploring for more such problem statements that we want to get resolved with the collaborations with the fintechs, and that is where the collaboration works well for us. Now we are into the phase of building certain products in collaboration, and we didn't wanted to have very short term idea based, projection based discussions, and getting back to the normal business. We wanted to make sure that whoever is willing to work with us stays with us as a partner for a longer duration. He has the entire POC cycle, delivery of the product, experiencing it, fine tuning it, and maybe can have a longer journey as perpetual as it can be. So that was little going beyond the normal collaboration that we were witnessing in the market. And thanks to the DOP leadership, our MD and CEO, and to an extent, ministry was also involved. We wanted to create a hub, specific board approved process, structure, funding, support that can be provided to these organizations. So these were all kept in place. We had, a marquee set of people who became a part of jury to select these out of 100 odd applications which we got in 40 days of window. We were able to fix it up with almost 9 of them, which were the ones which were relevant, who were passionate, were able to connect to the actual requirement that we were trying to solve at our end. And this digital revolution is actually the backbone, because if we talk about bank, it is the only uh, bank which is giving you full access without any paper. So digital has to be there. So we are there. So far so good, and we look forward to more such participants.
How do
We'll
you
keep
reach
on
out?
opening the
Just to
window.
know, how do you reach out to the startups? Is there any?
Yes. So, sir, what we do is typically, like KSM was one of the platform. Then a lot of state government do their own chapters of these kind of startup mission program, which is running. That we have participated in Chennai startup mission program, Kochi, where we had this KSM coming up. A lot of state government got motivated to pick it up for to promote these community of startups, fintechs, to bring in that kind of revolution from from the point of making this country a complete innovative hub.
Okay.
So we get exposed there. We promote these ideas there. We also have our own ways of social media promotions. We come up with the let's say problem statement. We throw it as a challenge to whomsoever want to.
Okay.
We connect over the emailers and the list of contact that we have, and a lot of organized channels are there, like microsave and the ITs of the world. So they are all communicated well on this.
Thank you very much. That's good.
Thank
See, Mr. Jidesh is here. You are playing a very important role, and you have already onboarded lots of startups and a vibrant team you have. Which are the important areas or space where the banks and startups can collaborate, especially with your experience, and how the banks are identifying and prioritizing these areas? Which area is there any action plan through a plan from the beginning of the year, or is there any policy guidelines? And are the banks am I audible to you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And are the fintechs agile to sense the needs of customer? Are you getting any new avenues which you are not so far exploring? Can Mr. Jidesh discuss on this, please?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And good afternoon to everyone, all those who are listening, also my fellow panelists. I think there was a slight confusion regarding the timing of the session. I got to join a bit late. Yeah, so to answer this question, see, we work with multiple fintechs. Probably, I would like to say, even though they are most of them are startups, but we work with fintechs mainly in two dimensions. One, basically on the customer acquisition side, or maybe in enhancing distribution, while some of the technology companies, maybe they are working in the financial domain, they also deliver services to us. So today, maybe if you look at our customer-facing applications, 80 to 85% of those are developed by either a new fintech or a startup who is a purely technology company. Starting from our first mobile banking application or our Fedbook or our UPI, starting from maybe any customer, most of the customer-facing applications were developed by fintechs, and even now, many of the new technologies which are delivered to our customers, in-house applications, are also being developed with the help of fintechs. So fintechs come with a lot. Maybe they are all having, they are all newcomers from the campus, or they have access to latest technology, unlike an in-house development team. And they also come up with a lot of innovative ideas to the bank. Maybe they approach us and say that, okay, we can do this, or why don't we do this? So they also always bring some amount of innovation to the table, and that is where we do some amount of experiment with them. Basically, it can there's a chance of success as well as failure. Both are equally possible, because whether they will be able to have the same set of people to deliver these products and services, all those things are challenges. But still, we keep a lot of faith in these partners, and we ask them to develop products. For example, we have, if you look at Federal Bank's website, we have something called FEDI, which is an in-house, it's an AI-based personal assistant which answers millions of questions today. It's developed from scratch by a technology company actually hosted in Kerala Startup Mission. We also have a team of people. My department is Fintech. I had Fintech partnership for the bank. And we have actually, my entire team is sitting in Kerala Startup Mission Kingspa here. So I have people, partners who are working from here. We have a recruitment application which is developed by a Fintech company, which is fully paperless application, AI-based recruitment application. 90% of the recruitment process is handled through the application. So from the campus, they just need to download the application, and then all those things are handled by the application. So there are so many similar instances. So it is all need-based. 90% of the such partnerships are need-based. While we also have fintechs who are customer-facing, like the likes of Jupiter and Identify, who are partnering with us. So your question on how do we select these fintechs, that's purely aligned with the business objectives of the bank. So let us say we decide that this year we'll focus on, we have to have this much unsecured business, or this much cards business, or this much savings account to be acquired. That is aligned with the business vision of the bank for the maybe in the next 3-year vision. It is aligned to that vision only. We actually work with fintechs at this point of time. Number three, basically all these fintechs come up with, as I said, the improved UI UX. They do a lot of customer research, and they take feedback from the customer on a day-to-day basis, and they use AI and ML to get the feedback from the customer and then improve the customer experience. So the customer journey is mainly being managed by these fintechs, while bank, as a bank, we are strong in banking and business, so we provide the business know-how and intelligence to them. So it's a collaboration between a partner who delivers a customer experience with a bank who understands banking, cybersecurity, compliance, and other regulatory aspects of that. So that's the way we work with. And we have a team, dedicated team in Startup Mission, which comprises of people from all verticals who are sitting in together to work with startups and work with fintechs, and so that they get all the information upfront or initially in a single discussion. I have the presence of all team members from different verticals. They will be able to get decisions faster rather than going from in a sequential manner. So that's one advantage. We also work with multiple partners, multiple geographies, including financial inclusion, where in Gujarat we do for milk farmers. We have a fintech who actually work with us on last mile connectivity for the farmers. There are 36 million farmers in 36 lakhs farmers in Gujarat working under Amul alone. So there are different, we have microfinance partners, we have doorstep gold loan partners. It all are depending on bank's ethos and philosophy, and also aligned with the business objectives.
Okay. Thank you, Jitesh. You were mentioning it was interesting to listen to all those levels where you are at present working, but there's an interesting word that you use, the risk. So what is the, do you have any risk appetite plan for onboarding startups yearly? How much you, how is that being done? It's very, I would like to know about it, because it's bank as we all know, it cannot be 100% all secured with 100% mitigants when you tie up with a startup. How do you take that risk in that?
See, any product today given to the customer, whether it is mobile based or net banking based or anything given to the customer, there are regulatory guidelines given by the regulator, Reserve Bank of India, like for example, DPSC, digital payment security controls, and card-related controls, digital lending, if it is a digital lending guidelines. So any fintech or any startup who works with any bank in the country has to go through all this now. So if I have to provide a set of security features to my customer who is accessing my mobile banking application, then the same is applicable for anybody is offering any product. A fintech is offering a product to the customer. They are also subject to same amount of scrutiny, same amount of compliance, etc. And they work as an arm of the bank. So see, if I have to have certain security in my development area, that they also need to follow. So security, there is no compromise on security. If I have 99% security in one application, then that should be followed by fintechs as well. So this is one challenge most of these fintechs may be unaware of when they venture into partnerships. But
okay,
when they start working with them, this is one point they need to actually develop, because yeah, there are a lot of DPC control. Your application should not have and it should not have any trojans or viruses. It should not be rooted device. Wi-Fi should not be weak. So there are so many skill aspects they need to look at, because it is actually it's an entry point of a third party into the bank system. So if there's a vulnerability in any application, it can actually lead to frauds and customer data leakage and other things. So that is why this is mandatory. Anybody who's coming in, we don't have any diluted version of security for partners at this point.
Thank you for elaborating on this. This is a very valuable input. Now you see the startup is a special breed. We know they are working on ideas, innovations. They need lots of hand holdings and pivoting support and all that. And how the banks, especially how they are supporting the startup, the method of identification has been, as far as Federal Bank is concerned, they have, Mr. Jidesh has clarified it. What are the key areas also, and what type of relationship it is going to be, what can be sustainable relationship, and whether there's any investing or funding relationship or lending relationship, and what type of mentoring on onboarding and that business knowledge development and other support systems that we have to give to the startups, especially if we have to grow together. And Mr. Sushant, I would like to hear from you, especially from the DBS point of view and from the general banking point of view.
Afternoon, everyone. Yeah, Mr. Arjun. So let me take that. I think some very, very valid and interesting points that have come across from the panel. Uh, First thing is, I think there is funding today available in our country for startups, even beyond banking. When you look at the funds available, there are lots of government schemes. There's a lot of initiatives that the government is putting forward for startups to get off the mark, which was not there 4 years, 5 years back. Organizations like yours, if you look at KSUM, and the amount of incubators, accelerators, and support system that's come around startups today was not prevalent maybe 10 years back or 5 years back also. This is all mushroomed. Angel investors in every city is ultra HNIs trying to create their own funds. So I think the I don't think funding is the biggest worry. Once you reach a certain scale, okay, we are currently in a funding winter, as they may say, but that's for the large ones. But for the young entrepreneurs that we are talking about today, I don't think scaling off is a major challenge. The second area is, do not look at only banks from a funding perspective. I'll come to funding. I'll definitely cover how banks are playing a role over here. But don't look at banks only as funding agents. You can look at banks as people who have a large base of customers that you can tap into. I've got DBS in India today has got 550 branches. We are present in 20 states. We are no longer like a multinational bank. We're like an Indian bank. We've got 16 branches in Kerala itself, as we speak. So don't look at me only as a bank who can come in and put a few $100s or few thousands of dollars to get you kick started. But look at me as an ecosystem that you can reach out to a large base of customers. And that's how we've approached startups. We've got a lot of startups where we've partnered with. We've got names like India Filing, Vakil Search, Zagil. These are all startups, and I'm talking about the partnership which happened 3-4 years back. And we've taken them to their customers, they've taken us to their customers, and so on and so forth. That's another very, very interesting angle. We've got close to 3.5 million consumer customers on our side, adding close to 1,000 almost every month. This is the available base, where you can actually grow out there and expand your business in the next level. There are also funding schemes now by various banks, including DBS. We've also today, if you would have just gone on to LinkedIn for some of the startups who are here, we are tying up with ISB, SPJ, and to actually create a cohort where a possible fintech's idea can be discussed, and we're arranging a program between three. This is the first of its kind for us, where we are calling in 3 or 4 large institutes to kind of present some of their ideas that will take banking forward. We'll pick a few from there and work with them closely. We've also worked with a lot of bootstrap startup. Forget the ones which are launched by Sequoia, etc., and put money on the platform. Now, what am I saying? I'm not lending directly, but I'm putting credit for the customers who are coming onto that platform and are engaging, thereby, kind of in some way increasing the GMV of the platform. So I'm go on and put unsecured money for your customers to transact more on your platform. So we've gone live with multiple platforms where we are doing this. So these are very indirect way where people don't traditionally look at banks putting money in. You're dealing with a large corporate. I can finance your receivables. So your receivables can be financed. So there are various areas where a bank can come in and support a startup. And today's environment is extremely conducive, and banks are extremely eager to kind of partner. I agree with what Sanil and few others said, Jitesh and everyone said before. Partnerships have to be viewed on three fronts. It has to be beneficial for the brand that they're associating with a bank, for the partner itself, for the fintech, and most important, it should be extremely beneficial for the customers we are jointly approaching. So I think keeping the customer in between, if there's a mutual value that we can add through the partnership, I think the partnership then tends to have more longer legs in the business.
Okay, thank you. That's very valuable input to understand. Now, I have been discussing with some of the startups. I'm just bringing out some of the pain points they were talking about, and this discussion will be open. Anyone can take this discussion. We have been hearing from startups that banks do not have a dedicated team for taking up innovative conversations and discussions forward with interested startups. So there's a beyond how to do that. How to they cannot this discussion is not moving forward. Hence, a lot of time and effort is wasted in identifying the right point of contact. Knowledge and technical competencies at different levels is a challenge. Is there a dedicated channel for such decision makings? And what are your views and suggestions? If I can take it from no to banks, it's good. You can anybody can take it. Sanil.
Ajay sir, can I take this up? So,
Yeah, please.
yeah, to make it very simple, we started this journey around 5 years back. I was a part of the starting team with DBS, both region and India. We've actually created something called as an ecosystem council, which basically hounds and evaluates partnerships across the geography. We are present in 6 different locations outside of India, including India. And within India itself, we have an ecosystem head who typically evaluates all the kinds of partnerships. These could be fintechs, these could be people who do digital signatures, these could be people who run import export platforms. We have a dedicated team who evaluates partnerships because there is a lot of integration work that goes in once you kind of choose in or narrowed in on a partner. This makes it extremely simple for any kind of fintech to come and approach a bank like DBS, go to the ecosystem council, put out the thing, and everything is checked from the technical integration to their stability to a business case which needs to be put into place. All of these are decided by a central team which handles the ecosystem business for us, and that cuts across verticals both on the institutional corporate banking side as well as on the consumer banking side. So that's a little bit around what DBS does in terms of we've also learned over a period of time, and we've ensured that each time we try and make this journey shorter. It's not easy partnering with any bank, but we've tried to make this journey a little easier by putting a dedicated team in place who understands how to work with fintechs.
Thank you very much. Can Jitesh or Sanil make a brief?
I'll just I'll just add. I'll just take 2 minutes. A couple of anecdotes on this. So one of our events which we had in one of the cities, we got a feedback that one of the startups stood up and said that when we walk into a branch, we are expecting, okay, yes, we are approaching Yes Bank. The person who's being interacted with should know what are we talking about. And he said that they did not understand what I'm talking about or what I'm wanting. If you approach a branch, they will say that, okay, you open an account, you do this, you do that, whatever is the product that they want to sell that particular day. That could be the topic of discussion from the bank side. Second point is one of the investors early in my time with Yes Bank, maybe 2015-16 time, when I had met one of the investors, they said that if you want to engage with the startup, specifically on founder kind of a level, you need to have 3-4 key words which you start discussing with them. Unless you use these 3-4 keywords with them, they will not give you any attention. So it could be market, it could be customers, it could be funds, whatever. There could be 3-4 words for that. So what we have done internally, like Sushant was also mentioning, most of the banks have this kind of understanding, and we have created teams. So just to give a background, we will have good presence in most of the Sunicons and Unicorns in terms of integrations and solutioning with them. And this would have started way.
Mr. Sanil, you are on mute. Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. So I was saying that we have started a journey pretty long back, and we have understood, or we have created teams who have a basic understanding of what to discuss, what is the need of a startup. It could be fintech, it could be non-fintech, what to talk to them, what is their requirement. So we have teams across cities. We have specifically in Bangalore, Delhi, NCR, all put together, in Mumbai, Pune, all the startup cities, including the South as well, wherein those people are approachable in person to discuss and discuss things. We've also created platforms, digital platforms. We have created something called Yes Connect, wherein, so this is a marketplace, like an Amazon kind of a thing. So a startup can engage with us, or a fintech can engage with us, list their solutions out there, go to market through us, and that is a completely digital journey.
Good.
They can be digitally, your customers can be digitally onboarded through Aadhaar authentication, etc. Whatever products that they want to sell, they enlist with us and list their products on their particular website. We have even curated sector-specific approaches. If a manufacturer is coming to that particular platform, he will need, say, 3-4 products for their sustenance. If an education institution is coming and approaching that particular bank, they need a different set of products. So we have actually curated these solutions also. So the fintechs who are associating with us might feature in multiple, set of sectors. So we are trying to ensure that we are just not banking with those customers. They are getting a go-to-market strategy, and they are opening up. We are opening up, like Sushant said, to the entire customer base of ours. I think Sushant said like that. So
that's huge gold mine sitting on huge database.
So exactly. So that is something which we are encouraging them to engage with banks like us, so that they will also get at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everybody.
Thank you. Anything to Jidesh to supplement to this fast?
See, basically, the banks in this panel, none of the startups will have any challenge in accessing.
Yes, great. Thank you.
But there is a challenge generally for startups in the bank industry, mainly because of various processes involved in onboarding, etc. Like some of the banks have RFP process, etc. And this particular, many of the banks have not started engaging startups to that extent. So that challenge is there, but I think RBI, RBI Fintech Hub and Department plus RBI Innovation Hub, etc. are actually keenly discussing these aspects. So I hope there will be some standards or guidelines that will help the startups to actually engage more with the banks. And even Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I think, just a day before said that fintechs or startups are the core of Indian financial ecosystem, and probably I think that will be heard by many of the entities out there in the system.
Okay, thank you. There's one more point which maybe as the system evolves and matures more, there's one more point. Another point often discussed is the startups. There's no clarity on the technical requirements to be met by the startups for product integrations with the banks. Can there be any standardization for that? Can it be? Will it be a one-to-one? How does any regulatory interference is there in this? What's the problem actually? Getting clarity on the technical requirements to be met by.
I don't know. I don't think. See, the technical. See, only when actually this any partnership materializes or matures into an integration level, the bank will basically start a project plan, etc. They will definitely say that these are the things which are required for an entity to come into the organization. But these are all not told upfront at the time. Okay, now whenever a startup comes in, you have to be serious. All those must be told to them. But every bank has a process for onboarding IT. It could be under IT outsourcing guidelines, or it could be under BC model, or there are multiple models under which banks onboard partners. So every bank will have a set of standards to onboard a partner, and that is very clear for every organization. For example, you should have VA, PT, we have due diligence with the partner, we have IS audits to be done as per regulation. There are SAR audits, The servers should be in India, and there are cloud audits. There are multiple audits related things. Cybersecurity preparedness are there. All those things are evaluated. Integration is to be tested. UAT is there. So, like any product being implemented to the organization, banks will have 100% clarity on what to be done for integration. So, I don't buy that 100% because clarity will come only when they start working towards it. But there could be the sequential process in which the partner may not have the visibility upfront is one challenge, as you rightly said. Maybe when they are ready to implement or when they are ready to go live, somebody will come and say that okay, these things should be met. Probably that type of communication gaps should be there, or could be there, or any new regulation that is coming. Just now, when we are about to go live, probably a new guideline will come in or a co-brand guideline will come in. But I don't see that there should not be a clarity because most of the banks today in India are much well versed in partnerships and maybe at least working with multiple outsourced entities in the market. Not be startups, but other entities like
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. So we are nearing the allocated time. Just to end before that, we know that RBI is doing this regulatory sandbox, and they are calling startups also. Do you feel that the regulator has to play something critical now in strengthening this relationship? And the regulatory implications for this startup collaboration? Any guidelines on this, or how can it be made more smooth, or is it at any point of time there's no guidelines on this? Is it anyway hindering this smooth development of this relationship, Mr. Sanal?
Thank you. So in terms of regulatory role, I would say as a well-evolved financial ecosystem, India has a very good regulator in terms of RBI and even NPCI for that matter. So so there is a lot of clarity on what is possible, what is not possible. And just to add to what Jitesh was saying, when we meet startups or fintech specifically, they know more than us about the regulations because I'm not saying that banks do not know it, but for them it is a survival. They have to go through each and every word written in a circular of an RBI, and so will our compliance team. I'm not saying that we don't go through it, but there is total understanding of what is possible, what is not possible. There is clarity on that. Only thing which is we keeping on changing or whatever is evolving is that certain practices, if our regulator finds out that okay, this is impacting certain sector of the community, or this is not a good practice to have, this could be leading to something else which is not really controllable, etc. So they keep coming with regulatory changes. You would have seen the regulatory changes in digital lending, or in terms of crypto, there is a lack of clarity on whether we can do it or we can't do it. There is brain drain happening on that particular front to other countries, etc. So I would say there is a lot of intervention being done by the regulator. It can be more open and transparent in terms of making people aware, the market aware, that this is the reason why these things are happening, or these are the reasons why we are not doing. There are certain areas which takes a lot of time to decide. So which actually impacts the market, impacts the timing of the entry of that particular business into the market. So which might not be the best thing for the country. And but otherwise, I think I would say 70-80% of the times the regulations are clear about things. And we also keep taking clarifications from the regulator. Can we do this? If some ideas come from the one of the startups, we also approach them saying that these are the new things which we want to do. At times they do confirm, yes, we can do it. Most of the time it's a silence. Silence is taken as a yes, and we proceed with that. Otherwise, they might object to things that these are not things which they want to promote. So there is 70-80% clarity from the regulator, I would say.
Thank you.
Also, Ajay, and say if it's okay, I'll just come in very brief. I just come in very briefly, and I'll say that sometimes to add to what Sanil said, I think it's right. We have a very good framework with RBI and PCI and other regulators coming in. Also, what beautifully they end up doing is also they give a little bit of flexibility for a startup to come and try things. And unless it is not going way out of whack, they're also giving that environment. Imagine if all the regulations are so tight, a startup will never be able to thrive or put out an idea out there. So sometimes RBI does react a little later, or regulation reacts a little later, but it's also understanding and giving you the freedom to play within the framework. Eventually, the regulating bodies have to take into cognizance that the bank or the fintech is dealing with you and me, which is like an end customer, and it has to protect the interest of the end customer who's using that service. So I think they play a very, very good role, and that little bit of leeway and flexibility always allows the startup to kind of jumpstart an idea, and then the regulation plays its part. So I think it's fair
Okay.
for now.
Great, that's good. So this is something which I wanted to discuss some of the important points, and looking forward, another important because since banks are taking this, because banks, startups, fintechs are working with banks, the face is the bank definitely. But the recent survey of having heard all three of you, this recent survey has said the respondents are 50% of the respondents they discuss are not express concern about the privacy and security, data security when dealing with fintechs. This is a matter of concern. And traditional banks, which are generally heavily regulated by the government, and central banks have a relatively strong strong regulatory mechanism, and these startups have a regulatory, there exists a regulatory vacuum in the fintech industry. So are the banks taking this role, and the concern of the security and data security is being is a responsibility of bank system now, or the regulator?
Yeah, I will take that question, and then others can come in. See, basically, the data lies with the bank. In almost all the partnerships, the responsibility of the data privacy and security lies with the bank, and it is not actually being entrusted with the fintech. So, bank is ultimately responsible whether regulation is there or not, or whether any provisions are there. But ultimately, it is a responsibility of the bank to protect customers' data. And in all partnerships, we as a bank, in the back end, the customer experience is only managed by the partner, but or maybe the customer journey, but the end of the day, the data which is residing in bank servers only, and that is encryption and all the other standards as applicable to the bank, as applicable to the bank as per the current regulatory provisions are all maintained by the bank. So I don't see any challenge in that. Regulation is very clear on data privacy and data security and CA and all the other aspects. So I don't see, but there are cases where in digital lending, etc., there has been instances where this has been not taken care by, not by banks, but other entities who are there, and that is where digital lending guidelines is coming, which is more skewed towards the customer and protecting customer interest and customer privacy, ensuring that interest rates are known to the customer upfront. So there are a lot of changes that is coming in. Just because if there is any violation or there are certain deviations seen, RBI has come up with strong regulations on that. But ultimately, I would like to say that data is the ownership of the bank.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you on this. Now, one more before we end. Let's see the MSME segment and the retail banking segment. As far as the retail banking segment is with the thrust area for banks, MSME segment is, as far as the economy is concerned, is very important area. How this fintech bank relationship very crucial in developing some of the key important areas in this journey, that is financial literacy, meeting various compliances, account management of these MSMEs, which they are otherwise finding it difficult, and how can this help in the delivery of the credit, timely delivery of the credit, and adequacy in delivering of that credit? Can this relationship create a change in that landscape?
I'll take that. Yeah. So in terms of MSMEs, as we go along in the digitization of the entire country, most of the things in the MSME space has also become a lot digital. And I think many banks have developed platforms wherein MSMEs can, based on their balance sheets and credentials, even based on their GST filings, there are potential for borrowing from the banking ecosystem. Of course, there will be limits and caveats and stuff like that applicable to that. But I would say there is a lot of initiative which is being pushed, especially from our retail space, wherein there is a lot of growth happening in terms of credit offtake. large corporate ticket loans are far and few between because of whatever reasons. So we most of the banks are focusing on the retail lending, and most of the players in the NBFC and fintech space are also focusing on these areas. Since the bank's interest rates are always competitive as compared to any other player in this field, I would say there is good initiative which is being taken, good offtake happening in terms of digital approaches to them. And we have also developed something unique in the market in terms of creating a specific platform for MSMEs. So
Okay.
any other large corporates will have a different platform to use for their day-to-day activities. We have developed something called an MSME app. So if I'm an MSME, I can go onto that and I'll have respective features available on that platform. It's a mobile app which will have limited features, which is relevant for me to survive and do my banking activities, which includes your lending piece as well, including stock statement submission, CS certificate submission, which is quite relevant for only for MSMEs. So this is one of the unique things which we have developed in the last 4-5 years, and this has taken a lot of lot of impetus in the market. So definitely there is push on the digital lending from the banks.
Thank
I'll
you very
also
much.
add, Ajay sir, on what Sunil said. So I'll not repeat what Sunil said. I think that is a fair assumption to say that banks are doing their best to get as much data centrally. Apart from that, I think what banks are also trying to do is embed themselves in the existing platform that an MSME or a person in the rural end is. On the, let's say if a farmer is already coming and doing some tech, some work on an agri tech platform, can a bank embed its journey over there? So wherever a customer is already going, now he doesn't have to come through a separate route through a bank. He can just go and come on that platform, and there will be some kind of lending available either through an NBFC or through a bank. And I think that's the approach which even DBS is kind of pushing through. Okay, can I be a backend or be present at powered by DBS rather than being upfront and say come to a bank? Because sometimes banks are intimidating. People always feel that we'll ask you for 500 documents before you enter, but that's not the case today. I think the landscape's changing, the asks are few, and whatever information is available on the platform, I think banks can do with that to start off the lending process and go to the first time borrower in that fashion. Just wanted to add a little bit to what Sanil already mentioned.
Thank you very much. Prajit,
Ajay sir, we are running
this
out
is
of time.
time, and this time I think for us to conclude, since it is time, and it was a wonderful interaction with the bankers, the senior bankers, and about the directions, and it looks that this relationship is going to give more customer experiences and more solutions and more products. Thank you all for the wonderful and valuable inputs. Your interaction with clarity, that is especially with clarity, shows how the banking system has involved in embracing this innovation, technology, and fintech collaborations. Thank you all very much for the very healthy interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sushant.
sir.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Ajay.
Thanks, Ajay.
Happy Diwali to
Thanks,
Happy
everyone.
Diwali to all.
Happy
Happy
Diwali to all.
Happy Diwali to
all.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
Thanks,
meeting all of you. Thank you.
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to everyone. Thanks a lot, Ajay sir. Thanks a lot the eminent leaders from the banking ecosystem to be here for the valuable time and to come here to explain about how banks and startups can contribute. We have a big demo day happening parallelly. So we have 11 fintech startups who are demonstrating their product. So please do consider visiting them as well. That will be a great honor for Kerala startups. And even startups are looking forward to interact with you, because we had a very limited time here, but we'll get enough time to interact with you. So thanks a lot. Thanks, Shant, Vishwanath, Sitesh, and thanks, Sanil, for your presence today and interacting with us. Thank you, Ajay sir, for moderating the session very effectively.
Thank you very
Moving
much.
on, now we have a very specific country access country market access session. So today we had investors listening to the startup pitches. Today we had banks coming in listening to the startups and discuss the opportunities of giving them business. Now the other crucial part of any demo day, any startups, is to how to expand into a different country. And for that we have a very eminent personality from the global startup ecosystem, who is actually a very renowned fintech expert in his country. So Singapore, as you know, it is a very dynamic fintech ecosystem. Every fintech startups, they always look forward to explore the startup ecosystem of that country. They look forward to opportunities to how to expand and do business in Singapore. To explain about the Singapore fintech ecosystem as such, and to give the know-hows of how to get an opportunity, how to scale in that particular country, we have today Mr. Ruben Lim, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Singapore Fintech Association with us. I welcome you on behalf of Kerala Startup Mission. I welcome you to this session, Mr. Ruben, and we really look forward to have a great. I know we are running a bit late, but with the limited time that we have, I'm sure you are going to give some great insights. And this is a fireside chat. To moderate this session with Ruben, we have Dr. Ricky Jacob, who is a senior fellow from Kerala Startup Mission and co-founder of TRDR. Over to you, Dr. Ricky.
Thanks, Prajit, for the introduction. A very warm welcome, Ruben, to this discussion. I mean, with the Singapore FinTech Festival around the corner, I think the timing couldn't be better, right? So, I mean, Singapore, like Prajit mentioned, has been, a country, which by default startups, be Bangalore, other parts of India, or probably other regions of Southeast Asia would consider to incorporate and set up their, headquarters. Before we jump into that, do you want to just give us a brief about, your role and, a quick history on, what you've been doing over the years? Yeah. Just to give the
Sure. Hi, everyone. Happy Diwali in advance to the audience. My name is Ruben. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Singapore Fintech Association. The association is not a non-profit trade body and this is supporting fintech companies. And right now we have about 800 corporate members. Of the 800, 200 of them are plus minus about 200 of them are the stakeholders, the like of your banks, insurers, asset managers, fund managers, including the lawyers, the different law firms, account advisors, and advisories, consultants. The other 600 members, plus minus 600 members, we kind of categorize them by putting on a 2x2 matrix for easy understanding. On the horizontal axis, I'll categorize the fintech from a business model perspective. B2B, B2C, B2B2C. So B2B2C is a bit on the micro and data finance. Also, in terms of just the product offering, so you have your RegTech, regulatory tax supervised with RegTech, InsurTech, remittance, asset organizations, payments. Payments includes your pay in, payout, include cross-border payments, includes all the different wallets. Then you're going to have, we also have banking and service, digital capital markets, digital wealth financing, wealth tech, all the way to NFTs, cryptos, DeFi. So this is really kind of the range that you kind of members that you have, the kind of product offering that you have in Singapore. Now on the vertical axis, you have the funding level. So at the bottom, you have your pre-seed, seed stages, all the way to your unicorn and the listed companies. That's really the kind of ecosystem that we have here in Singapore. And SFA itself right now, in order for us to be sharper in supporting their needs, what SFA does is that we have two main key missions. One is to support our members to grow their business, to succeed. Second is to support Singapore to be the fintech hub. And I'm happy to address some of the questions that Ricky has mentioned earlier about what is it about the hub, the Singapore hub. And then in order for us to achieve those missions, we have about 10 sub-committees. We call it sub-committees, and also 4 working groups so that it allows us to render attention and resources to help each of the sub-committees be more effective and also to achieve some of the objectives that we set out. So that's really who we are in a nutshell.
Very nice. Yeah, thanks for that, Ruben. One of the things I've noticed is, you have Montreal Association of Singapore, MAS, which has been very, proactive in opening up, sandboxes for startups even based here in India to kind of, enter the market through testing and validating some of their, use cases. So has it always been a subconscious effort of, being ahead with regards to, policies and having compliances in place to just empower fintechs or any startups from any region as compared to locally? It's not very well you hear something like this happening in other countries. I mean, in India we find it quite challenging.
My position is this. I think what So I guess let me first explain the setup of our regulatory body here in Singapore. Unlike many other countries, which is actually very common in all countries, you usually have a central bank, and then you also have a financial regulator. And then you may or may not have another agency that looks at developing the market. Some of the functions, for example, crypto, for example, token as digital assets, could then also fall into another department. So it depends. So some countries that I know of can have as many as 5 to 6 different agencies. So as a result, regulatory framework can be a bit complicated sometimes, and then you do not know who you need to talk to at different times. I think in Singapore, when you mention something like sandbox, I take a step back and want to call out what makes Singapore so fantastic in terms of the way we see financial sector, especially tech space, is how everything first falls under one body called MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore. So MAS is both the central bank as well as a regulator, as well as a tech advocate, is also the market developer. So it really all sits under one roof called MAS. And as a result, when you introduce a product or when you introduce an offering called sandbox, the way you perceive a sandbox will be very meaningful because this sandbox has taken into consideration the needs of different regulations, different central bank purpose, different mission. It has taken into account all these things. And therefore, it becomes a lot more effective that you know that if you are in a sandbox, you fulfill all aspects of concerns instead of just one agency or just one department. You fulfill the country's regulatory concerns. And importantly, I think when it comes to sandbox, one thing I want to call out is that sandbox is the reason for setting up sandbox is not to try everything. In general, in Singapore, it's very, very clear that we are very activity-based when it comes to licensing. So first and foremost, you have to ask yourself whether it's activity that you're involving in requires a license, because not everything requires a license. So for example, if you're a RegTech space, if you're software as a service, you don't need a license because you're not performing regulated activity. In the event that you do require a license, and the structure is very clear, the instructions are very clear, then sandbox has no place for you because then what you need to do is to apply for a license immediately. What the creation of sandbox is to cater for ambiguity, is to cater for innovations. Not ambiguity in general, but ambiguity that comes about with innovative solution. Because when you start to become innovative, the solution that you have may have cross activities. So it may involve 2 or 3 different licenses. It may involve some license but not licensed at all. So when you have those ambiguity because of the innovative solution that you have, sandbox is then a safe place for you to try that. At the same time, for someone like MAS to get to know you better. And that is what really the real purpose or intent of a sandbox is about.
Yeah, so I mean, again, with regards to Singapore, how you kind of, like you mentioned, you're trying to become the world's best fintech hub. And I think from the way things are happening over the last few years, you're very well getting there. So it's very exciting to see the journey. I think the Singapore Fintech Festival started back in 2016 as the first time you all conducted the Singapore Fintech Festival. And I think in just 4 to 6 years, it's probably grown into being one of the world's most popular fintech festivals and events, which lots of fintechs even from India. I think we had Bank Open, which from Kerala. They actually launched their Visa card at the Singapore Fintech Festival. So it's also become a venue, an event where people look up to and actually launch fintech products for the region, broader Southeast Asia as well. So it's amazing.
So what makes let me make a comment there first. Singapore is not the only fintech hub. In fact, there are many hubs in this world. So, and I think, but to everyone's credit, India will also have your own fair share of India fintech hub as well, I guess. But in that sense, what makes Singapore exciting, or rather what makes Singapore an interesting hub in a sense for regional players or even for global players, is that we are fortunate that our forefathers has done an excellent job in setting up the infrastructure. So as a company, so fintech or not, So long you are a regional business or global business, then it makes sense to set up a corporate holding in Singapore because of the taxation, because of the way the rule, the law of the land, setting up a company, the ease of setting up company, the ease of hiring, the easy access into the global markets around the region, the flight connectivity, the goods connectivity. So it's with all this whole infrastructure being set in place, fintech then naturally is starting at a different starting point. We had the benefit of starting up at a good point. And therefore, building on all this, we then then Singapore becomes an easier place to become a hub. And the other, but let's say, like I said, Singapore is not the only fintech hub I do want to call that, but Singapore does make a very good hub for this part of the region. Only means it's a place to base. But ultimately, the market is not in Singapore. We all have to recognize that Singapore is a very small market, but Singapore is a fantastic place to try your product because we are very open to new things. So B2B, B2C, B2B2C, as I shared earlier, Singapore is one of the few markets where you can see that there is while it's a lot of B2B, but it's not dominant. Unlike some countries where in a more developed market, probably a B2B will be more dominating in a market where there's a lot of huge population. B2C products tend to then take up most of the limelight. I think in Singapore, it's really a good fair share of both. So that will be the part that makes it exciting. Singapore FinTech Festival is part of the natural product of what it means to be a hub. Because what it means to be a hub is that it's a place to connect, it's a place to try, it's a place to build, it's a place to build relationship. And naturally, having a conference like this where everyone comes together and able to attract everyone together makes it very more exciting because not only at the infrastructure you have the talent, you have the thought leaders, and thereafter this whole thing makes a lot of sense. I think this year is going to be exciting because we're expecting close to 60,000 people coming to Singapore.
That's brilliant. So yeah, I mean, I think the point that you made there with regards to now companies thinking of incorporation, so that it starts from there and then it slowly becomes a fintech hub, and you could take it up and run with it. So even with regards to, I think, we see investments from, say, a US-based fund. If a company is from India, I mean, the expectation is either, we have in Singapore or a Delaware incorporation, right? So I think that ease of, setting up, incorporating, getting a company up and running, and plus being favorable for, venture capitalists to kind of put their money, I think that has really helped, grow the region.
That part is interesting because even for venture capital and all the different fund managers, truth be told, they are based in Singapore, but the mandate is not only Singapore.
Right.
So as far as my knowledge goes, usually for a VC in Singapore, their fund, if it's a regional fund, global fund, is probably only 20-30% meant for Singapore. So you'll be no surprise to know that most of the money is actually invested in countries like India, countries like Australia, and Singapore is really again a hub. The money is held here, but it's invested elsewhere. So again, if you want to, so the funders are here, but their money is meant for you, which is because it's part of the mandate.
Very nice. So with regards to the specific areas, I know when you started off, you touched upon, even within fintech, whether insurance, wealth or investment tech. I think there are a few robo advisory platforms, etc. I've seen thrive in Singapore. So if there are startups in the region here, in India, especially in Kerala where we are, what are the key areas that you see, new innovations happening, new companies coming up, setting up shop in Singapore?
So Singapore in general is actually very welcoming of all different type of technology in fintech. So that's why we have such a broad spectrum. But in terms of the one that's really seeing a huge growth right now, a couple of spaces. So one of them are green fintech. So green fintech is one that will definitely be seeing more and more numbers. And that's also because of the global movement. I don't like the word movement, but it's real that we all have to be sustainable because otherwise our children's children will have no more earth to stay in. So green fintech then plays a very active role. Green fintech is not the end all be all, but green fintech will be part of a larger whole ecosystem to support this whole sustainability agenda. Yeah, so that's the part that we recognize and know where it plays in. Another part that will be attractive going forward in this part of the world. So when I say attractive, it doesn't mean the rest are not, but I just want to maybe highlight what is kind of getting some attention now. Maybe what asset tokenization.
Web3.
So Web3 asset tokenization. I mean, there are many ways to call it, but I think what is really exciting is that how the application of using blockchain, the real application using blockchain, because blockchain itself is amazing technology, but blockchain is also not a technology that is needed for everything.
Correct.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who use blockchain as a marketing tool. Say, oh, I'm a blockchain, like, oh, I'm a blockchain. But truth be told, you don't really need blockchain. And in fact, a lot of times if you're on a private chain, then you're not exactly utilizing the full utilization or value of having a public chain or blockchain solution. So I think that part when it comes to asset tokenization, this is one use case that we feel that will be very useful. That we will see that more and more coming up in this part of the world. So we even have a lot of digital exchanges as a tokenizing where you can fractionalize real world assets. So those things are happening here as well. And last but not least, of course, we are seeing more and more merger acquisitions happening in this part of the world. We are also seeing so startups are becoming more scale up. They're getting bigger. They're getting stronger. They can weather through more uncertainties. And also another thing that I want to call out is embedded finance. So a lot of more solutions are now coming up with with financial interaction and transactions, and these are the solutions that will then help the traditional company to increase their stickiness, to increase their capability to manage to connect with their people, with their target audience, and maybe even using fintech as a form of loyalty marketing development. So that will also be something that will gain traction.
Got it. Yeah, so I mean, interesting point. In fact, there was this event in Bangalore last weekend. When I was there, there's this founder who I met. He's building from in Bangalore for the world and in the Web3 space. And he said, yeah, it's Singapore headquartered, and then that's the default. And that's the advice he gave. Like, if you're starting up in Web3, your HQ, register in Singapore, and that's how you get started. Is the general thought. And even with regards to, I mean, that's amazing how it totally becomes the de facto of if you want to. And I think that's where Singapore has gone ahead and been very open and supportive of things like Web3, which is taking off. Some geographies like Dubai and others are also opening up to that. But it's great to see how Singapore has done that. And I mean, great you mentioned tokenization. When you say asset tokenization, it could be things like equity, real estate, and others as well to make it fractional. But I thought with equity, probably I got it wrong. I read where Singapore has been a little. From a compliance point, how we look at tokenization of, say, equity, the public markets.
Sorry, so can you, what exactly is what's the question?
Yeah, so I mean, with regards to tokenization of, say, equity, Singapore has probably been a little conservative with regards to some of these, what's possible and what's not, or are you all open to ideas where if it is
I think what is Singapore what we are more concerned about is speculating for retail speculation in crypto assets, cryptocurrency. So that is the part that Singapore government is very concerned about, and that is because the idea of retail investors putting money, a lot of their money into an asset class that is not easily understood remains a concern for the government as they care for their people. Because truth be told, even in a shares market where you can buy and sell company equity, over the counter, you buy company shares. Even with annual reports, even with analyst assessments, we can still lose money. So what more with crypto assets when the usual advice that you hear from financial advisors and experts is that a crypto portfolio shouldn't take up more than 5%, but yet we are seeing that people sometimes can put in more than 5%, but we heard that even more than 50% of the portfolio in it. And when there's going to be volatile volatility involved, it can create quite a bit of a scare and fear there. So that was the part that we don't agree. But in terms of tokenization or other real assets, I guess it all boils down to structuring and how do you go about doing so. But the beauty of tokenization that I want to call out is that it's not a new concept.
Correct.
It's not a new concept in a way that if you look at markets, there's already something called REITs, real estate investment trusts. So it is really about taking a building, put it into a company, and then from there you dissect the company into different shares, and then you buy the shares. So that is already in a form fractionalization. But what happens is that this fractionalizing is still done in a very traditional market where you have brokerage, settlement, an exchange, custody, you have various middlemen that comes in. Every transaction, you can, with the current technology, it will appear immediate transaction, but the whole completion will take about 4 days before you collect, 5 days before you collect the money, or before you collect the shares. So in that sense, if you use smart contracts building on blockchain, then it narrows down that gap, and so it just expedite the whole thing, and that may reduce in cost, that reduce in some inefficiencies, which then also means that you can do more real world assets at a lower cost.
And ease of trading as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant. So yeah, I think I know you have a stop at 1:25. We have a couple of minutes. So I mean, if Kerala, where we are, as a region, we've been popular for financial services. Some of the most popular banks and lending institutions in the country, some of the largest gold loan lenders in the country, almost I think who own 75% market share, is based here. But unfortunately, that can't be said about growth of fintech in the state. So even we as an institution here, we're kind of trying to see what are the steps that we can take to kind of improve the region, build an ecosystem. I know it won't happen by 2 steps and in 3 months. It's a process, and you need to take steps towards that. So if you were to give 2 to 3 tips on what are the things based on your experience of how things have shaped up in Singapore, how it's kind of accelerated some of those already laid foundations that you mentioned about. Yeah.
So that is where government intervention comes in very useful. That is where encouraging, inviting foreign investments, or when I say foreign investment, it doesn't even have to be foreign company. It could be within India itself, inviting fintech that are based in Mumbai, based in Delhi, based in Bangalore, to set up shops in Kerala. What happens is that because a lot of these things are organic, so it has to happen naturally. So when I say natural, it's like when you say Singapore fintech, like I mentioned earlier, it's not because we just suddenly asked a lot of fintech to come here, but because there was already an ecosystem, there was already an infrastructure that's already set in place. And therefore, naturally, as a few comes, the rest start to follow. So there's always that effect there. But of course, to one extent, you are right. We can spend the next 5 years to 10 years to build the ecosystem. And then by then, we may have missed the boat, or by then it will have been a lot more effort, or you can jumpstart. And the jumpstarting part is then thereafter is, how do you then encourage more fintech to set up business here? And naturally, people are drawn. So you can, and when there are more fintech they are already attracted in, it will trigger more small creators in the Kerala state to create something. So it's always a causation there. And in that sense, what will be useful is that how can then government, or how can then private corporates consume fintech? Because ultimately, let's say a state-owned bank in Kerala, or let's say some developer or some traditional businesses in Kerala would like to then adopt fintech. You then start to use fintech, start to investigate, find out more, ask more questions, and then what happens is that then you will be inviting your neighbors, say Chennai, then Chennai fintech will come and pitch it, all this kind of stuff. But look, what happens is that they always want to move close to their client. If a big enough player start to consume 5, 10, 15, work with different fintech companies, naturally they do have to set up presence here, a tech team here, a support team here. Then that will attract the whole ecosystem, that will attract the whole other players that come in place. And then they will have start to hire local talent. So instead of hiring someone from Chennai to service Kerala, if Kerala unit already have talent who can support, then naturally people are weaved into this space. So that kind of process would probably can jumpstart a bit on that. And then of course that's where government sector also coming with their. So there is no one size fit all. You'll be sorry to say that government can do everything. There is no right formula to say the 20% government effort, 30% private sector effort, but it is really everyone putting the effort together and someone have an overview to see how it can bring this to fruition.
Sure. No, thanks a lot, Ruben, for those points. And it's a great conversation that we are having. I know we can go on for a lot of time, but given our time, I think I'll pass it on to Prajit. So yeah, good luck on the festival. And
I look forward to welcoming everyone here to Singapore. It's going to happen from 2nd to 4th November on a Wednesday to Friday. In fact, all the events and networking sessions starts on Monday, which is 31st October to 4th November. So look forward to see you guys. You'll be at Changi Expo. You're going to have like 6 huge halls. You're going to be walking. There'll be 60,000 people who will be here, and fantastic speakers that we've arranged for everyone as well.
Sure, brilliant. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ruben. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Happy Diwali to all.
Yeah, so Ruben, you very well explained about Singapore as a startup hub. I like when you said it's not just a fintech hub, it's a startup hub. The ways on how startups can scale from Singapore, and the prominence of startups, especially the sectors where startups can flourish in all those things. Those were some great points that you mentioned, and really looking forward. So thanks a lot, Ruben, for your presence. Thank you, Dr. Ricky, to moderate this session very effectively.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, the day, especially not the day, the webinar, the Big Demo Day webinar sessions, have come to an end. But day is still here. We have time till 6 p.m. today. We have our startups exhibiting at the Big Demo Day platform. Please do visit our startups there, and please interact with them and explore the synergies in the days to come. So to quickly wind this whole session, to quickly give the concluding remarks, I would like to invite Ms. Aditya, who is the program lead for Big Demo Day. Over to you, Aditya.
Thank you, Prajit. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yeah.
So, good afternoon, everyone. It is such an honor for me to get an opportunity to thank such eminent personalities here. Kerala Startup Vision decided to focus on fintech as it is an emerging technology nowadays. And the acceptance that our exceptional fintech startups get to the countrywide as well as global market is remarkable. The first unicorn from Kerala is also from the fintech sector. And the Big Demo Day is an effort from Kerala Startup Vision with an objective to bring more business opportunities for the startups. And we really hope that this would create more such opportunities for the startups who have participated in the program today. With that, I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Ratan U. Kirkar, IAS, Secretary, Electronics and IT, Government of Kerala, to take out his time from his busy schedule to attend this event. Thank you, sir, for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day. And I extend my gratitude to Ms. Mandip Julka, Vice President, Chirag Day Ventures, Ms. Bhavana, Co-Founder, We Founder Circle, Ms. Shruti Sinhal, Regional Head, Indian Nature Network, Ms. Ruchi Pinja, Investment Analyst, Unicorn India Ventures, and also Mr. Deepak Nakpal, a Managing Partner, India Accelerator. The suggestions and discussion points in the pitching sessions are encouraging for the startups and will definitely improve their position in future, no doubt. Now, I would like to thank the personalities who are here to have a panel discussion on the topic banks and startups. We are highly looking forward to making this a better opportunity for our showcase startups. Let me take this opportunity to thank Ajay sir for routing the discussion in a wonderful way, in a right track. And our dear panelists, Mr. Sushant Shetty, Senior Vice President, DBS Bank, Mr. Vishwanath Divya, AGM IPBB, Mr. Sanil C, National Sales Head, Yes Bank, and also Mr. Jitesh BV, Head, Fintech Partnerships, Federal Bank. Thanking you all, sir, for spending your valuable time with us on this occasion. And now, yes, we know that the fintech ecosystem has spread rapidly all over the globe. Plenty of opportunities are waiting for our startups abroad. But the lack of access to information on where to hit or how to enter the right market in the right manner is what is missing out, and missing out especially with our startups. We are sure that our startups good to know the opportunities in Singapore as a fintech hub. I hope we can lead them to success there. Thank you, Mr. Ruben Lim, COO Singapore Fintech Association, for the valuable information you have shared. Also, thanks to Vicky, Senior Fellow Fintech, Case Young, who have led the chat on track with relevant information. And yes, a special thanks to our CEO, Mr. Anupam Pika, for providing immense support to make the event happen. Thank you, Prajit. You handled the event, the webinar session wonderfully, moderating the entire webinar session. Thank you so much. Let me also thank the entire organized team of Kerala Startup Mission for working hard for the past few months to make this event successful, and also congratulate all the startups for their active participation in this event. I'd like to invite all of you to visit the stalls of our startups and to interact with them, as they are available up to 5 p.m. today. Please do visit, and we value your suggestions and future engagements with the startups. Thank you, everyone, once again for the active participation, and looking forward to seeing you all in the upcoming Big Demo days also. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Aditya. Thanks a lot for that, wonderful thanking note, concluding remarks. Yes, the program is really well organized. Thanks to all the, Startup Mission team and all the, stakeholders who were us with till this time. But yes, the day is not end. We have time till 5:30 p.m. All the listeners, all the viewers, all the audience who are there at the BDD platform, please do visit the startup platforms. We have got some rockstar startups with the innovative products. Please do visit them. Please do have the interaction with them, and please take it forward. This is Prajit signing off. Thank you.